Good evening, everybody, and welcome to New Gamers Live. You've joined us in our Christmas jazz lounge this evening, as we're, getting calm, getting chilled, ready for what should be a really, really exciting race. But because there's going to be so much excitement this evening, we're just taking a chill in the studio this evening. We've had some decorators in, we've got some bunting, we've got some mince pies on the desk. The Megatron has been turned into Sparkle Central with the snowflakes because, we're feeling festive here at Noob Gamers Towers, as this is our final stream before Santa comes and gives the children all the presents. So welcome to the stream this evening. Hopefully you can hear us on the channel this evening. If you can't, of course, let us know. Always nice to have a bit of feedback from the viewers at home. But yes, welcome this evening to the stream. Now, I will, of course, be joined in the commentary box by, someone you may have seen race on the stream before, someone you may have heard on the stream before. We've got people, nice jumper power, yes, a bit of a festive one, So yes, as I was saying, we've got someone joining me in the commentary box this evening who you would have seen race previously. He came on as a second half substitute in a previous race as a super sub, but tonight he's getting his full debut in the starting lineup for this evening's events. It is, of course, Ilium.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, brilliant, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very well indeed.
Very festive.
Very festive indeed, yes. We've got to make an effort this evening, Jamie. As, Christmas is nearly upon us, so it's nice to, give the people at home, get everyone in the Christmas spirit, of course.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, welcome to everyone on the stream. Let's see who we've got. So Dragon Slayer 1988, his money is on Trevor H this morning. Fred himself says hello, he's got his popcorn ready and he's loving my Christmas jumper. And Professor Porn 91 has already been banned from the stream for spamming emotes loads. So if you're still there, thanks, I guess. But yeah, maybe just chill out on the old emotes a little bit on the stream. But yes, it's a Thursday night, Jamie. We've got some Nascar this evening. How exciting is it going to be?
It is super exciting. It seems like there's a couple of technical issues with the game, so I'm sorry if I'm a little distracted.
Okay.
Just trying to get that all sorted out.
No worries. Obviously, at the moment, we haven't turned the Megatron on yet to those issues, so the people at home don't know any of the wiser. But of course, they do now. But we'll just keep an eye on that in the background. But obviously, last stream was Sunday's race. I was riding solo for that one, but you've probably had a chance to look at it, Jamie. Other people have had a chance to look around it if you joined us live for it. It was an amazing race, the Le Mans event we had on Sunday. Loads of crashes, loads of thrills and spills. And I can only imagine it's going to be exactly the same this evening.
Yeah, hopefully so. What a race that was.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, although it's just an oval this evening, lots of fast cars going as fast as they can, basically round in circles. But, as we've seen in practice, it only takes a little nudge and you do see cars spinning off left, right and centre.
Yeah, they're all raring to go, I think.
Yeah, it should be an exciting one. So we're just going to see how the lobby's looking to see if the boys are ready. Practice is starting really, really shortly. But of course, we want to be live at 8 o'clock here. We want to keep to our schedule. So we did that. But unfortunately, it looks like, the old motto is coming true again. Do not work with children, animals, or Project Cars 2. So yeah, it's all kicking off in the lobby. There seems to be a massive technical issue. But that's okay. Thank you for joining us. Odyssey has joined us in the chat as well. That's a pretty tame bet, Dragon. Short odds on that one, I'm afraid. And, he's got to show his support or Trevor will cry. Well, he is a bit tetchy at time to time, Trevor, as we do know. But no, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. He's a good boy indeed.
I have to say, I'm rooting for Trev tonight.
You're rooting for Trev tonight?
I feel like he was robbed.
You feel like he was robbed? What, of that? The championship overall?
No, of the final race of the championship.
Okay.
I feel like he played the supportive father role.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
For Bob, but I think it's his turn now.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll see. I think what we can do while we're just waiting for the technical issues to get sorted, we're going to try this. and see if we can show you guys some of the action in case you did miss it last time around that we saw on the stream. So let's see if we can do that and get you guys some of the replays that are going on potentially. Let's see what we can do. No, so it doesn't look like we're in the lobby at all yet, does it, Jamie? Do you know what's going on?
Everyone's just joining back now, so I think you might have to rejoin.
I was going to say I'll rejoin now, then we'll get that sorted.
Yeah.
Yes, apologies to everyone for joining us so promptly this evening. And unfortunately, Project Cars 2 has let us down, but we should be moments away now from getting in there with the practice this evening, so you guys at home can see exactly what's going on. So thank you very much for all joining us live on Twitch, whether you're watching on your mobile phone, on your tablet, or on your big television at home. However you're digesting this evening, we thank you for joining us at home, as me and Jamie will be bringing you all the action from practice to qualifying to the race itself. And it should be really good. I mean, we've had races in the past where there's not been a lot of action, Jamie, but this one, with so many cars on such a small space, we're not going to have a lap without any crashes, are we?
It's guaranteed. I mean, even the start, we got a rolling start tonight, which is something new to the stream. Should be really interesting. 3 abreast down the main straight. It's carnage.
I mean, a rolling start in any race is going to be mad, but when you're talking about NASCAR, it's certainly going to be absolutely lively. So it's just to let you guys know at home, we've got 15 minutes practice, we've got a short qualifying, and then it's a 50-minute race. That's 50 minutes, 50. So loads of action to bring to you guys at home this evening, loads of opportunity to watch all the thrills and spills throughout. In terms of lap time, you're looking at anywhere between the sort of 40 to 50 second time. Is that about fair enough to say, do you think, Jamie?
I think the late 40s, 48s is a pretty quick time. I think most people's race times would probably be in the 50s.
Okay, so 40, let's say 45 to 55 then, that sort of stuff. So we're probably looking at 50, 60 laps in that 50-minute period, which in a normal NASCAR race you have about 160 split across 3 stages. So this is essentially just one stage of a NASCAR race that we should see this evening, which is okay.
I think what we will see tonight, almost guaranteed, which we've not experienced on this stream before, is pit stops.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it's a 50-minute race, and in the past, we don't have races this long on a Thursday. And as you said, we don't really get a lot of pit stops unless it's for damage and people need to come in and fix it.
Yeah.
Whereas tonight, they're going to have to go in because the tyres are just going to be shot to pieces.
Yeah, there should be some good tactics with that. Do you hang out, go a bit slower, but try and tactically choose where to go, or go in early and take the advantage?
Yeah, certainly some tactical play is going to happen tonight. So let's see what else we've got on the chat this evening. So Dragon Slayer it says, try working with Trevor. Oh, a bit of an insight there with Trevor. We've got Odyssey saying, great tunes, thank you very much. Obviously, we've got a lovely jazz rendition of a favourite Christmas song. And we might be seeing Odyssey doing some donuts this evening, which he says is pretty much guaranteed. I mean, I had a little go in the middle of the week just to, get a feel for these cars myself, just to see how hard or difficult or easy it might have been. And I have to say, you'd think in practice just driving around in a circle should be straightforward, but in these cars, it is really, really not. So yeah, it was really interesting for me to have a go just so I could experience it. So, for anyone to get around this track, Jamie, without any spins or anything throughout the entire race, I think it's going to be rare.
I think it's pretty much impossible for anyone to go the whole race without a little incident. But you never know.
You never know.
Got some top drivers in there.
Exactly. But of course, there is only one way to find out, and that is to stick with us through these technical issues we're having with Project Cars 2, as we can bring you some practice, qualifying, and of course the full race, where we should see exactly how everyone's shaping up this evening. I don't know whether, Jamie, it might be worth you jumping in with the boys just to sort of get an ETA for us on the stream of when the race might be going live. So
I'll go and have a little look now.
We'll let Jamie go off and have a little chat to the boys. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Remember, with all the crashes that is expected this evening, You can, of course, get replays on the stream when we do go into race mode. You can do that by putting an exclamation mark and the word replay. That is an exclamation mark and the word replay. And if 2 or more people trigger that in the chat, it will automatically trigger the last 25 seconds of action. So you guys at home can see whatever happened on the track all over again, which has been a really, really good feature that's been used widely in the last few weeks. Because, you're watching races on TV, you might want to look back and see what happened. So that's going to be us. Lots of action, lots to go on, and it should be an incredible game. But hello, Professor Paul 91. Yes, they are having issues at the moment, which is restricting the game starting. Yes, Fred, we know. Unfortunately, it is a bit of a pain. Project Cars doesn't always play ball. But if we're here with us this evening, just lurking around in the lobby, giving us a little watch, we really appreciate you just sticking by us that little bit longer than probably expected. We were hoping to probably be into qualifying by now, but we're not quite able to do that yet because of a few issues going on with the game. So it is what it is. It's live. It's live at the end of the day. Anything can happen when we're going live. And it's just what happens. It's just what happens. But what we do know is we're going to have, I think we've got 17 races this evening. So 17 races going round and round just in a circle is going to be, it's going to be hectic, to be quite honest with you. And I, for one, am really excited. It's one I've been looking forward to for a very long time. Hopefully, you guys at home are going to be looking forward to it as well. Because we've been bigging this one up for a few weeks now, letting everyone know that the NASCAR was coming, because it's a completely different spectacle to what we normally see on a Thursday or even a Sunday. Completely different to what we see on the stream in its entirety. And I, for one, just only hope that me and Jamie can keep up with all the action for you this evening. But we will, of course, do our best to keep up with exactly what is going on. So hopefully, Jamie can come back to me soon with a update as to what's going on. But for the time being, all I can say is, thank you for sticking with us for the stream. There's not really much else we can do this evening until we get the green light from Jimmy to let us know everything is good in the hood. But hey ho, as I said, it's what the age-old phrase: do not work with children live, do not work with animals live, and do not work with Project Cars 2. So if you're in the chat this evening, drop us a little line and let us know who you think is going to be the favourite for this evening's race. And we'll digest your information and have a little gander ourselves to see whether we think that's going to be particularly true. Trevor's been talked about a little bit now. Fast in practice during the week. Bob's been up there. Mr. Salt's been up there. Mad Nice been putting in some decent times. Generally, he's been putting the work in to try and get himself on the podium positions tonight. So, but it's all well and good being able to do it in practice. The key, of course, will be doing it in the race itself. I turn on here my name. Yeah, we're just saying, Bob, you're putting some decent times in behind the scenes, but there's nothing wrong with this top. We've got a Christmas theme tonight. The mince pies are out, the snowflakes are out, and that's what it is. Outside bet on Rolfie 87. Yeah, that's what I mean. From my point of view here this evening, I genuinely think this is up for grabs. I think practice, irrelevant. Qualifying, irrelevant. Yes, we got to go through the motions, get people the opportunity to warm up, do a bit of qualifying, but there's gonna be some major incidents tonight. We could see people at the top being taken out, and of course, because of the speed differences as well between people as well, and it is only one short lap, people are going to be overtaking people. So if those people suddenly, pull out into the wrong line, they could take out the people at the front of the grid. So really, it is a completely open door as far as anyone can win it. I think it really is truly going to be a really open race, which really, really excites me from a commentary point of view. But hopefully it should be an exciting spectacle for the racers, because often when you're doing a standard track and perhaps you're joining the race and you think, oh, I'm about 5 seconds off the pace here. I haven't quite got enough to push. This evening, I don't think that's going to matter at all. I think it's just going to be a case of who can stay on the track the longest, which doesn't always mean it's going to be the quickest person. It's just going to be who can be the most evasive, keeping out of trouble, and that they could certainly be the people who bring the title home this evening. So we're just waiting on Jimmy to hopefully get us sorted. Hello. How are we looking?
I'm not really sure what's happening. He's having to set up an online lobby instead.
Okay.
So he's just doing that now. Send through the
worries.
details, and then hopefully that will work okay.
Perfect. So at least we're making progress, which is the main thing.
Potentially.
So yes, just as we were saying, Jamie, actually we think this evening pace is pretty irrelevant this evening. It's going to be a case of if you can just stay on the track the longest.
Yeah, because I don't think there's going to be that big a lap time difference between the top and the bottom. Like sometimes there's 6 or 7 seconds a lap. They're such short laps. I don't think once you get in the rhythm, they're only going to be a couple of seconds apart.
Exactly right. Yeah. Not Benjamin 2010, who of course, long-time follower of the channel, getting involved in the chat. He's actually racing this evening, so putting his money where his mouth is. But he says the racers are keeping up their spirits this evening by abusing Bob in the Discord channel, which is going on. So, everyone's in the festive spirit, everyone feeling jovial despite the technical issues we're having with the game. But regardless of that, as soon as we're ready to go, I'm going to be really excited. So it looks like Jimmy's just sending in the information now. So let's see if we can get our Twitch channel up into the lobby and go from there and see if we can get involved this evening. So we want to go to... So apologies to everyone once again, but I really, really appreciate everyone sticking on board with us this evening. It's really good that you guys are just sticking through the technical issues and hopefully going to stick with us throughout the entirety of the race. So we're just joining the lobby now. It's letting me join. It's always a good sign. There we go. I'm in the lobby, so it's a good start. Most of the drivers are also in, which is also a good start. Liam Gunner 1, thank you for joining us. He says hello to Bob. He's obviously one of the Humphrey fans. There's a lot of them about.
Yeah, he's got a big fan base, hasn't he?
He has got a big fan base. It's like Man
or he
United.
pays all his mates.
It's a bit like Man United fans. They just pop up anywhere, don't they? They're like a curse,
Not at the moment.
a curse on the world. They're just everywhere, and it seems to be the case with Bob and Trevor's fans. Fanboy 100%. Well, Liam, at least you've got someone to cheer on. That's the main thing. But hopefully this evening, yeah, like a virus, Professor Porn. Exactly right. So the lobby is up. We have 18 people in the lobby at the moment. I've been assigned my position in the race as the broadcaster this evening. So all things are pointing to this working, Jamie, and we could be moments away from practice.
Oh, I certainly hope so. I need to see some action.
Yeah, it's it's not quite the same just sat in the studio just chatting. I mean, I know it's nice for you guys at home. We've got the Christmas music on, we've got the snowflakes, we've got the mince pies out, we're feeling festive. But at the end of the day, you're just watching me chat a load of rubbish, really, and you guys are really just here for the racing. But I'm doing my best.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah, gotta keep the stream going while Project Cars sorts itself out. But I'm hopeful that we won't be long away now. And we can get cracking. So yeah, we've got 19 drivers in the lobby. I don't know how many more we're expecting. Are you aware of anyone else?
I think that's about right. I think that should be everyone.
Yeah, so we should.
Just waiting for everyone to tick the green thumb button.
Okay, yeah. Oh, there's a few more coming in now.
This is exciting.
This is just as exciting for us as it is for everyone. Yeah, we're waiting for the green thumbs to come up in the lobby to make sure everything's ready. Do I need to press a green thumb as well?
Vote to start, you need to tick.
Vote to start. There we go. I've done mine as well. I've green thumbed as well. So yeah, apologies. And annoyingly, for the first time ever, we are, we've got loads of you watching at home this evening, more than we normally ever get. So I really appreciate everyone joining us this evening. But unfortunately, you came here for the racing, but we're not quite there yet. We should have been in qualifying by now, but we're not quite there yet. Because we're just waiting on the game to sort its out. so we can crack on with the racing this evening. As we said earlier, we're loading up.
This looks promising.
We'll turn on the Megatron. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. The Megatron has been officially turned on this evening. We're in, as Odyssey says, and you guys can see the track behind. It is just an oval, Jamie, just round, simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, it looks simpler than it is, but when you're actually driving it, it's not quite that straightforward, I don't think.
No, from my experience of doing it, it's certainly not. So what we'll do, we'll turn on the main screen for you all. We'll get out of the studio now so you guys can see exactly what's going on. So there we go. We'll turn off the Christmas music. We'll turn on the engines. And there we go. We are trackside, as these guys have a little bit of time now just to warm up what they need to do. 14 minutes left of practice. We're on board with Rob 3 as he makes his way out of the pit lane to start with. And here we go, Jamie. We are go, go, go.
Go, go, go. Yeah, it's an interesting pit exit, isn't it? It's quite long. That could cause some issues.
Yeah, especially, if we get the opportunity later on the race to see the cockpit view of what the drivers can see this evening. I imagine when you're actually exiting the pit lane, there we go. So as we're exiting the pit lane, if you're not checking your mirrors, not that they're much help, I don't think you're going to see what's coming up behind you very well, are you?
No, that could be there could be some extra issues there, I think.
Yeah.
Here we go, look. Here we go.
So we'll see if Invertigo can come out there. A little bit of a spin there nearly by Invertigo already. But yeah, these cockpits in these cars are so tight, so claustrophobic. What it means for us is people can't see where they're going, and we should get some exciting action. So what we'll do to kick things off, what we always like to do is bring in the race director to the admin channel, just so he can give you a little bit of a lowdown of exactly what we should expect this evening. So Jimmy H Official, are you there?
Good evening.
Good evening, Jimmy. How's things going? I think we're past the technical issues now, and we can see some racing on our screens.
Excellent. Yeah, past technical issues, not sure what happened there. Read the instructions from top to bottom, followed them word for word, and hey, one of those things. One of
those things. And of course, we're just driving around in circles around it in the Indianapolis Oval this evening. However, I had a little dabble midweek just to see what the track was all about, and it's a lot harder than it looks, isn't it?
Yeah, it is hard. These cars are they're pretty unstable. Sketchy tyre pressures, and get close to other drivers, it affects your downforce. There's a lot that can happen here, really. They're not easy. They've taken quite a bit of practice to get used to, but they are fun. Once you get going, they are fun.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the speeds we should be able to see on these cars should be up there. But just going around in a circle, you haven't got too much to think about the track, but with all these cars on the road this evening around you, although you're pretty much driving in straight lines, there's certainly a lot to think about, isn't there?
Yeah, I think what you'll see at the start is going to be pretty chaotic, really. There's going to be, 17, 18 of us on the track, rolling start 3 abreast, so you'll probably see 5 or 6 rows of 3. Almost certainly there'll be knocks, collisions, bumps. After kind of lap 1 or 2, you'll probably see the grid start to split out a bit, spread out, and there'll be some gaps. But then what you'll be having is those much quicker drivers lapping some of the other cars, which again open up plenty of opportunities for bumps and scrapes, and we could see some interesting finishes and some interesting folk on the podium at the end.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, from our point of view, and I'm sure Jamie would have similar views. We were speaking about it earlier, that the cars at the back, actually, if you're towards the back of the race and you're getting lapped, there could be a possibility that you take out the person at the front and it causes all carnage to the final places.
Yeah, you just have to be careful of that. I think if you see, somebody approaching you nice and quick behind, don't do anything too crazy, really, is my tip, really. Ease off the accelerator, just stay on your line, stay where you're racing, just ease off the speed a bit. They'll pass you, they'll make the move. Just kind of keep your head, really. Don't panic, don't brake, don't try and swerve, because that's when you fuck it up and could cause someone in first place to drop a few places, and then there'll be a few tears before bedtime.
Just as you said that, Crichton Alpha had a little bit of a slide out, and someone's just T-boning into a wall. So, I mean, that just sums up what we should expect this evening.
And this is practice, and there's at least 5 of us still in the pits. So.
So yeah, 16 drivers we've got this evening going around this track. Are we expecting any late entrants, Jimmy?
We should have, I think we'll have 18 in total.
18,
So there's a couple of,
18 it is.
I'm still in the pits. There's someone ahead of me in the pits. I'm just sorting out my pit strategy now, and I'll get out in the next minute or so.
Perfect, good. Well, we'll leave you to it then, getting yourself sorted. But thank you for joining us and giving a little bit of an explanation of what we should expect this evening. And enjoy the race ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.
So there we go, Jamie. We heard from the main man himself, and as he says, it should be carnage this evening.
I mean, I'm just flicking through the different drivers, just trying to have a look at everyone, give everyone a bit of advertising screen time, and we've already seen 3 crashes in practice, so it's going well.
Yeah, it's going well. So we're on board with Tuke at the moment. Now, Tuke isn't adverse to the odd bump and scrape. But
Driving smooth, I have to
he is
say.
driving smooth. Just looking in the chat, TMAC92, thank you for joining us this evening, TMAC. His big tip this evening is to work together, the drivers. So if the drivers are watching this, work together and don't grip the steering wheel too tight. So yeah, some really sound advice there for the racers as we jump on board with Mad Knife. Now, Mad Knife, Jamie, he's been putting the work in during the week, lots of practice under his belt. Hasn't quite hit into the podium positions in the past, but do you think he fancies his chances this evening?
He did sneak a 3rd place podium a couple of races ago, didn't he? Do you remember? With all the carnage. Solid driver. His car looks a bit wonky at the back there, I have to say. I don't know if he's had an issue.
Maybe he's had a little bump early door. So while we've got time, we've got 8 minutes just left to qualify, and let's bring in a couple of the other racers and get their feelings on the race ahead of us. Of course, we need to start with the Noob Gamers champion, and that is, of course, Bob Hump 3. So we'll drag him into the commentary box this evening and get his views on what he sees happening this evening. Good evening, Bob Hump.
Good day.
How are you?
Are you slipstream?
Yeah, not too bad. I was trying to ram Jamie Rolfe across the start line, and I succeeded. So
good work. So we've had very similar views from everyone who's joined us this evening. Basically, it's going to be chaos and carnage. Was that what you would agree with?
I don't agree with that. I think it's going to be much worse, and I'm sort of hanging on it, to be honest, on the first lap, so I don't have to go with my end of a deal. So
yeah,
I
so
don't
I'm
particularly
not sure if we want to. Should we tell the viewers at home what the bet is this evening?
If you want.
So, unfortunately for Bob Hump 3, he stupidly said in the Discord channel that if we go through the first lap without any crashes, he will appear on the screen on this stream live in a mankini. So that is what is at stake for you this evening, Bob. How do you feel?
It's what the fans want to see, though, isn't it?
Oh, of course. I'm
It is.
sure we'll.
Yeah.
The viewer count will probably triple as soon as they know you'll be joining us with a mankini.
I told the wife what I'd done, and she went, "No, you're not." I was like, I hope not as well.
Sophie's just joined
when
us
the
on the
world
channel
sees the
actually and
glory.
says
Yeah, she knows that I'll get stolen by someone else then.
she says if he does that, it's divorce.
She actually said that?
Yeah, she said that on the chat there. So thanks
Oh,
for
well,
joining us.
that's a reason for everyone not to crash.
So actually, we can break up a relationship this evening, everybody. If everyone stays
I'd have more
clean
time
on the
to
first
race
lap.
then, no, wouldn't I? So,
But back to serious matters at hand. In all seriousness, we have got a race ahead of us. Just driving around in circles, but lots to contend with for you guys at home this evening.
yeah, it's very underestimated how difficult this is. It is just, as soon as you get near a car, it's all well and good driving around on your own. As soon as you get near a car, or a car gets near you, you just lose grip all over, front, rear, and you're just ice skating. And you're going to see a lot of people catch someone and then probably spin out, or the person in front spin out. So you just got to keep look out for those battles, and you're going to have lots of action on your hands.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Janie's been flicking through the cameras for us this evening, and we've already seen 3 crashes this evening, and that's just in 10 minutes of practice. So it's certainly going to be an interesting one this evening.
Yeah, I think the winner tonight is going to be the person who stays out of trouble the best, or is the luckiest. One of those two.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption. Well, with just over 5 minutes left of practice, we'll let you get your head back in the game, but thank you for joining us in the commentary box to give your views this evening.
No, still have a good night, guys.
Thanks, Bob. Have a good race.
So there we go, that was Bob Hump with his relationship on the line this evening. If there are no crashes in lap 1, he will be joining us live on the Twitch stream in a mankini in future, despite the protest from his partner Sophie. But that's what we've got to contend with this evening, Jamie. I mean, I for one think that would be hilarious.
Don't worry, Sophie. There's lots of other top quality drivers here that you can marry instead. No worries about that.
Yeah, come and pick someone up. So T-Mac says double hump can work well together though this evening. Yes, that's very true. Using the power of the slipstream. So of course, because we have got these straights this evening, it is easy for the drivers to line each other up and almost catapult each other past using the slipstream this evening, Jamie.
Yeah, it's a really powerful tool. We've seen it used before. And quite often in real racing as well, it's used between teammates. Not only the slipstream, but as we've seen in the past, Trevor can and has acted as a bit of a rear gunner for Bob, which is what I was talking about earlier. I'd like to see those roles reversed, just once. Give Trevor a nice chance, but I can't see that happening, to be honest with you.
No, we'll see. I mean, I
feel like it might be the other way around.
Yeah, if of course anyone at home has seen the famous film Talladega Nights, the slipstream is of course a widely used tool in that film by the Shake and Bake brothers. And even if you're not in a team this evening, surely the slipstream is going to be the way forward, just to try and gain those extra precious seconds on your opponents this evening.
Yeah, it's a risky move though, because if you get too close, you lose a bit of grip. Tyres get hotter. You can slip so easily, as we've heard. So it's a risk-reward game.
Yes, exactly. But that makes it really exciting for us in the studio, doesn't it? To be fair.
Really exciting.
Because we should see all sorts. So we have 3 minutes left of practice. So these guys are really starting to get to grips with the track at the moment. The tyres will probably be nice and warm by now, but of course they will go cold again as soon as we start qualifying. But do you think qualifying is going to have a major impact on Precisions this evening, Jamie?
Only if one of the quick guys gets out front. They're in the first line of the rolling start and they're able to get away cleanly. If they can be consistent from there, it might be an easier race. But saying that, because it's such a short lap, even if you're out in front, you're going to have to be lapping people constantly. So there's always going to be other cars around as danger. So to be honest, probably not as much as we've seen in other places.
No, as you said, maybe just an early start for a bit of a confidence boost. But apart from that, there's always going to be something for you to contend with. So while we've still got some time left, let's speak to some other racers. Now, top of the lap times at the moment is Mr. Salt. So we'll drag Mr. Salt into the commentary box as he is top of practice this evening. Good evening, Mr. Salt.
Good evening, Miri. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Hello, Salty.
Good, thank you.
Good. So myself and Jamie in the commentary box this evening. At the moment, we see your top of the practice lap times. How do you think of much of a bearing that's going to have on the race ahead of us?
It's only practice, and guarantee that Bob will beat that time. He's got the world record of any player on Project Cars, so yeah.
Well, do you think though, it's all well and good having the world record on Project Cars when just doing things on your own, but actually in a race scenario, do you think he's going to have the bottle to match that this evening?
Who knows? To be honest, they're very difficult to drive. They're very difficult to sit behind anyone and have any form of traction. I do think whoever leads after the first lap will have a pretty good opportunity to go on to win it, providing they keep it together.
Okay, so actually qualifying for you is quite important, just so you
qualifying is super important, yeah. And if you're anywhere, I don't know, anywhere off the front row, and you're in the mix with other cars, then there will be mayhem in this one.
Yeah, no, I mean we're certainly excited. I'm not sure you guys are going to be very excited for the start of the race, but we're certainly looking forward to it from what can happen this evening.
It's going to be good. It's going to be fun.
No, really looking forward.
It's a one-off and first time we've ever drove these in this game, but yeah, it's going to be good.
Really good.
So,
Cool.
what are you hoping for tonight? You looking for the win or podium?
Podium would be really good. Podium would be good. I think I've got the pace over one lap, but in 50 laps with back markers, with everything else going on, it's going to be a different story altogether.
You are, of course, known as Mr. Consistency, though, from the very first race we did.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
There's been many drinks since then.
Yeah, you could say that.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining us very briefly in the commentary box this evening. We'll leave you to finish off practice.
Thank you.
Good luck for the race ahead.
Thank you. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed indeed. So that was Mr. Salt in the commentary box this evening. Currently top of the class when it comes to the practice lap times, but he's actually, unlike we thought, Jamie, he's putting a lot of credence to qualifying tonight and thinks it could make a difference.
It was sort of what I was saying before about if you can get out front and keep it clean away from other cars. But I was thinking that lapping would come into play a bit more, but perhaps he doesn't think that he'll be catching people up as much as perhaps we imagined.
Exactly. T-Max back on the channel. As long as they can keep it clean, packs of cars can work together to catch up the leaders. Fighting is the worst thing to do. So yeah, hopefully. I mean, unlike other races this evening, all of the drivers are in one Discord chat channel. Normally they're split up into teams, so there's a lot of opportunity to speak to the fellow racers this evening. Do you think the people are going to be using that to their advantage to try and, boost morale and stop the fighting to catch the leaders, maybe?
I thought you were going to say, are they going to be using it to try and put each other off? And
well, there's that as well.
Absolutely, there's a few I can think of who will absolutely be doing that.
As Mr. Salt's bonnet just flies off there, so brilliant. So yeah,
body parts bouncing.
We're less than 25 seconds away from qualifying. Thank you for joining us. If you've jumped on the stream this evening, we really appreciate all of you joining us. If you like what you see this evening, feel free to drop us a follow if you think we're worthy of it. But if not, we just really appreciate you being here and watching what we have in store this evening. Odyssey says in the channel his bonnet is in the cockpit, so he's not having a good time of it as well. So we've got a little bit of a confirmation there, a few fast lap times. Now, someone who we haven't seen on Thursday racing, who is there on Sundays, is of course Roy Klops, and he's currently sat in second place, so maybe a new dark horse this evening, Jamie.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up actually. It's not a name I'm aware of. I didn't realise he was from the other competition, but yeah, he seems very quick.
Just under the 48-second mark, not bad for practice considering the amount of people we have on the track this evening.
I think that is going to be a tough time to beat in qualifying. If you're in the 47s, you're going to be right up there.
Yeah, so here we go. Qualifying's underway now. We're 15 minutes of qualifying. Now, unlike previous qualifying session, of course, lap times are normally a couple of minutes, maybe a minute and a half, something like that. So actually, you do sometimes struggle to get enough space on the track to make a decent lap time. But this evening, with lap times under a minute, in theory, plenty of time for the racers to put a decent lap time this evening.
Yeah, it should be interesting, but and you can also tactically try and take advantage of slipstreaming off your competitors to help your time.
Yeah, exactly right. Why not? You'd be silly not to be quite honest, wouldn't you? Not to have a little go and try and use your competitors around you for a competitive advantage. So here we go.
It'll be interesting to see if the Hump family try that very tactic.
Yeah, but with everyone being in the Discord channel all together, I'm sure if that's pointed out early doors, there'll certainly be some backlash, I imagine, with people trying to break up that little duo. But we shall see. We're into the competitive mode now. Practice is out the way, and we're here for qualifying. So once again, thank you for joining us as the competition starts to heat up. Now this track is got itself a nickname as the Brickyard, Jamie. I don't know whether you know that little fact about the track. And that is because the start-finish line, I am told, obviously, it features bricks very heavily. If you actually look when we get to the start of the race, you'll see the start-finish line. And I'm told that is actually made out of bricks. The start-finish line is made out of bricks, hence
Interesting.
the Brickyard. So something a little bit different this evening. And of course, the rafters of the spectators are absolutely packed around us, as you can see this evening, as everyone's joined us.
It's a big crowd.
What was the ticket price tonight? It was about 500 quid, wasn't it?
Yeah, about $1 actually it would be.
$500, yeah, sorry, yeah, 500.
Yeah.
I think that's probably about right. The New Gamers Racing Championships are hotly contested, as we're on the bonnet.
We've tripled Wolfie's revenue.
So here we go, we've got the first lap time down, and it is Rob 3 who's taken the early initiative with a 49-second time, although Mad Knives just jumped in with a 49 as well. So we're starting to see some times creep in now as the pack starts to settle itself out, and we can really see who the leaders are as Bob jumps straight into first place with a 48.2. Is there anyone we've not spoken about this evening, Jamie, who you think could be in the top 5 this evening?
In the top 5, Sin's been quiet actually, but he's always up and around there, isn't he? He seems to find a way.
Yeah, he had a miraculous last race. Drove really, really well the last race of the championship, and he's always been in and around there, as you said. But maybe tonight could be the night. Who knows?
He seems to be able to deal with the damage well. The last race he pulled finish in a great position by managing the damage better than anyone else.
Which could, of course, be massively key this evening, because I imagine no one's going to get out of this race with 0 damage. I wouldn't have thought, based on what we've seen so far.
I do believe that damage, normal like suspension damage, is switched off tonight.
Yeah, some damage is turned off. I think there's still, engine damage and all that sort of stuff you can catapult.
Yes.
So if you do have a really, really big smash up, I'm sure the damage starts kicking in. But everyone, as we can see now, the top 16 racers, I'm sure, Jamie, you can confirm whether 17 and 18 to the viewers at home have also put a lap time down, because we can't see that on our screens here. But
no, they're both currently on laps.
They're both currently on laps. But at least we've got an idea of the starting position. So Mr. Salt again finds himself in top place, and the Humphreys take up spots 2 and 3. Do you think that's a realistic podium this early in qualifying?
I do. I feel like Mr. Salt was playing himself down there. We just see Bob's just crept into the 47s, but if you're in those 47s, you are right up there.
Yeah, anything 48, even 48, you've got to say in qualifying is going to put you, top 5. You'd like to think.
Below 48, sure.
But if you get, anything below 48, and you're absolutely loving it. So the boys just crept under 48 to start with, but we saw in practice they can do a little bit better than that. But as Mr. Salt said, Bob does actually, according to sources, hold the world record for this track in these cars on this game. So we know he's got the pace.
This will be an interesting one from Roy Klops. We saw he was really fast. He's on his hot lap now, so it'll be interesting to see where he puts this.
Here we go, just coming into play now. So Roy Klops, let's see where he can get himself up. 7th place, not bad.
Okay.
Nearly, on the sort of nearly the 48s, not quite, but there's still plenty of time left for the racers to get a decent time. As we're on board with Mad Knife now, who's currently in 4th place. So really good racing so far from Mad Knife. He's got a car like out of Cars, the Disney film.
Oh, is that what that is it?
Yeah, it looks like it. I don't think it's the exact replica car, don't get me wrong, but it looks similar.
Yeah, copyright.
Yeah, it needs to be a bit more red on the front, but it's pretty much there. But of course, this track was actually used for an animated picture, and was used for the film Turbo, if you've seen Turbo. Now here's a little quiz for you, Jamie. What type of character is the main character in Turbo? What sort of animal would you suggest it is?
I'm totally honest. I've never even heard of Turbo, so I do apologise. I'll have a guess.
Have a guess.
Badger.
Badger. It's not a badger.
Oh,
strangely enough, Jamie, it is a snail. So Turbo is about a snail who races. And although Turbo the snail has raced around this track in a feature film, we're hoping for more than snail's pace this evening from our racers this evening, as the times start clocking in, as Bob has actually taken top position for Mr. Salt now. So those three really going at it at the top of the leaderboard, with YX from the Sunday stream in 4th place. Now we shouldn't have favouritism on this channel, but Jamie, we've got to hope for something from Jimmy H this evening.
Yeah, well, we've come to him here because we've got to see what he's got. He's got a decent time in a 50-0, pretty good. It's all very close, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, as you said earlier, though, the lap times between them were only a couple of seconds between like the top racers and the lower racers, as Jimmy claws his way into the 49. So, a mistake, and actually, it's going to be really hard to catch up the people at the front if you've span out, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's in 13th and he's only 1.2 seconds off the lead.
Yeah. And obviously, we can't quite see it on the stream because I think 18th place haven't posted it. Has 18th place posted a time yet?
He has. Here we go. Oh, he's also in the wall.
Oh,
he has. There's a
51.7. No! He smashed off the track. He's got in the way of someone there. So Raz and Snell Freddy, who we've seen on the Sunday stream before, he's a decent racer, probably mid-pack what we've seen on Sundays. but his car is an absolute state. So lucky full damage isn't on this evening, otherwise I think he'd be out of qualifying by now, you'd have to say.
That was a big one.
That was a big one indeed. So we're jumping back on board Mr. Salt, who's second place at the moment. And he's going to be pushing really hard. You can see the time difference between them is so small between him and Bob. But first, second and third, don't forget, Jamie, do start, because it's a rolling start. They all start with fresh air in front of them, you could say. So actually,
Yes.
a 1, 2 or 3 is probably going to be enough this evening.
I don't know, because I'm not experienced in NASCAR. I'm assuming if you're first, you get maybe the inside line is preferable. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you'll get some sort of advantage, but I think the key is not having cars in front of you, which will be obviously the best thing for them. Whereas,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
as soon as you start going in 4th, 5th, and 6th, then it gets a bit tricky.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they have qualifying in NASCAR, do they?
That's a very good question. If anyone knows at home and you're familiar with NASCAR racing, please drop us a little line in the chat. Do they have qualifying in NASCAR? Great question, and hopefully someone can answer that for us, maybe with a little bit of Google research while they're just sat back chilling watching the stream this evening. But once again, apologies for the technical issues we had at the start of the stream for the game. Thank you for sticking with us as we are now in qualifying and just 5 minutes away from the race itself. As a reminder, if there is anything you guys want to see this evening again on your screens, we'll do a demonstration now. All you have to press is the exclamation mark and the word replay. That is exclamation mark and the word replay, and you should see a replay in the top right hand corner of the screen. So if you do get the opportunity to do that this evening, and you think there's something you want to see, all you've got to do is go for the exclamation mark and the word replay.
We do have a new leader.
Trevor Hump, your
Look at the
little
difference.
pick for this evening, has dragged himself into first place position. He's got to be delighted.
Look at that time difference.
The time difference is, I mean, Bob's probably absolutely livid with that time, isn't he? Absolutely
Yeah, I
livid.
imagine he is.
But hey, it is what it is, and I'm just glad I'm not out there racing. Although Bob's taking it back.
Got it back.
Bob's taking it straight back there. So yeah, I think it's going to be like that for the next 5 minutes. They just keep creeping under each other. But yeah, fair play to them this evening. Really good racing from everyone. So I mean, I'm certainly really looking forward to what we have in store this evening. So,
an excellent fourth place from newcomer Rolfie here.
Rolfie's doing well. Yeah, he's obviously been in the chat the last few streams cheering on the Bob Hunt boys. But he's obviously thinking himself as a racer, and he's getting involved, and he's got himself up to 4th place above Mad Knife. Mr. Salk still in 3rd, so the competition is certainly hotting up with the lap times from everyone slowly creeping down and down and down throughout this qualifying session. So it should be fantastic this evening. I'm really looking forward to it as we go. Have just 3.5 minutes. So I've just triggered a replay so you guys can see exactly what we mean by the replays at home. It should be appearing in your screen, hopefully in the top right hand corner if it's working well. So there you go. So if you put the exclamation mark and the word replay and score one word, I'll put one in the chat now for everyone at home. So if you want to replay, type this in the chat. There we go, so that's there for you. So it's exclamation mark replay, and as you can see, we get a lovely little replay in the top corner of the screen for us to see the action all over again. Thank you for joining us, Nemorius Gaming, hello to you. We really appreciate you joining us here this evening. And I have to say, Jamie, the excitement around this NASCAR event must have built up some decent proportions, because we are smashing the number of viewers we normally get on the channel this evening up into the 30s, which is, simply amazing. People are actually tuning in to come and listen to me and you talk about racing.
I know. I think they've come to see your Christmas jumper.
Is that what it is?
I think it is.
Lovely.
I would just say, actually, Mr. Soul, he's back on top.
He's back on top, Mr. Salk. So those guys at the top are really, really going at it.
They're trading places.
47.687, which is an unbelievable time. Really strong stuff from Mr. Salk. But Trevor's just coming around the last few corners now. Has he got anything in the locker to attack the boys back? We're about to find out. Here he goes. No, don't think he's quite done it. No, he hasn't.
quite.
So couldn't quite fight back there. So yeah, the race is hotting up. But of course, Jamie, this is just qualifying. When it gets to race day and we get the rolling start, anything could happen, which I'm very, very excited about.
What it does show, though, is how close these times are. Like a second covering the top 10.
Yeah, and obviously with qualifying, they do start it's staggered start, whereas they're all going to be together for the first bit of the race, which, you know, should, although we're seeing gaps at the moment thanks to that staggered start, we really should see gaps really very early in the race, should we?
No, it's going to be fascinating.
So yeah, just over a minute left. We're on board with Sin. Sin currently finds himself in probably a disappointing 13th place from his standings. You know, we've seen him put some decent racing in previous streams, but 13th place at the end of the day is mid-pack. So, you know, he's not last. Is he going to hold it around this corner? He does. Fair play. Although he's gone off there.
Yeah. Spoke too early.
The commentator's curse kicks in. But that's how easy it is. You know, you look at this track. I don't know whether we can start getting the speedo on there, Jamie, to see what sort of pace these guys are doing in. So, you know, we're talking 160 miles an hour going around these corners, which, you know, in theory, it's just an oval circuit and you're just beasting it around. But when you're talking speeds of 160, I mean, Jimmy's getting up into the 180s now. We could be clocking on nearly 200 going into the corners.
Oh, almost.
Look at that. So hard to control. And of course, the tyres do have different pressures from the left to right to help you navigate that left-hand bend better. So yeah, lots to consider. As T-Mac joins us again on the stream, and he says, good lad to Salty, who is keeping that first place position, Jamie, and it doesn't look like he's giving it up anytime soon.
That is an absolutely fantastic time. I'm not sure what the world record is, but that's got to be close.
That's got to be close indeed. So well done to Mr. Salt. Qualifying is now officially complete. There will be still a few people tidying up their last lap as we're still on board with a few, but we can see people already in the pit. So Bob's still out there, Trevor's still out there, and they might just have one last chance to attack the first place as we're on board with Bob. Here he goes. Is he going to try and take first place position? No, he's into the pit, so not enough time for Bob Hump to do it. We're on board with Trevor now, and he looks like he's going a little bit slow. It might just be the camera, I'm not sure, but
I think it's finished.
I think
it's
finished.
all
I
done.
don't think he's got the opportunity to go around either. So it looks like, Jamie, Mr. Salt has taken first place position for qualifying.
Yeah, he was playing himself down a bit, but I was confident. He's done well.
So there we go, confirmation. Mr. Salt in first place. We've got Bob Hump in second, Trevor Hump in third, Rolfie in fourth, Roy Klops in fifth, Mad Knife in sixth, Crichton Alpha in seventh, YX in eighth. It's Took in ninth, which is really impressive from Took. And it's Lang in 10th position with the rest of the grid to follow. So Took, you know, normally a back marker in these races, has clawed his way up to the top half of the grid, and he's going to be really happy with that, Jamie.
Yeah, he is. Some great performances there. I think Jimmy's a bit unlucky to be in 14th. That was a cracking time he did, but it was just so close. I mean, a couple of tenths and he's into the top 10 there.
Exactly that. It's so tight. So as we can see at home, the rolling start, and this is the formation we've got. We've got 3 cars in a row, lines of 3, and you wouldn't want to be in the middle of that. Would you? You know, here's a question for you. As a racer, if you're in the seat now, would you rather be in the middle of the pack or the back of the pack?
Interesting. I'd rather be at the front.
No, I'm giving you the option. You can either be in the middle
Probably
or the back.
to be honest. You can sort of pick your way through.
Yeah.
We've seen in these races before. You know, I've experienced it myself when I've been right up at the front fighting for the lead on the first few corners. It all goes wrong, and the guys that are sort of 7th and 8th come through and unscathed, and they're off.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking. You know, you're almost boxed in. You're 100% boxed in the middle of the pack, aren't you? And it's almost out of your control if someone comes straight up behind you. Whereas if you're at the back, as you said, and there's a couple of spins and people flying about, you can have the opportunity to navigate your way through. So. You know, you either want to be at the front or, you know, there is an argument to say, you know, being at the back isn't the worst thing in the world if you've got a decent pace. So I think we're just waiting for the racers to all clock in for the race ahead now. We should be moments away for a NASCAR 50-minute endurance race here this evening. Expect lots of thrills, lots of spills, with collisions all over the place. And thank you for joining us here at Noob Gamers Live Twitch, as we all bring you every single piece of action live to your mobile phones, to your tablets, to your big screen TVs, to your projectors, however you're watching this tonight. And we're off, Jamie.
Here we go.
So we're on board with Mr. Salt, who was in, he's meant to be first place, but the rolling starts currently got him down at third place. And we
sure
don't see. There we go. It's just dodgy camera.
Lost them all then.
Go around there. So they're just getting themselves warmed up, and as they go down this main straight now, the lights will start kicking in, and we will go. So Mr. Salt, as you said, Jamie, looks like he's got the inside line, and that's the benefit of being in first place.
Yep.
Someone smashed straight out of the way straight away. This is where we could get some carnage. So we're on board with Mr. Salt. He's actually found his way down in fourth place as Roy Klops takes first place position, getting really good inside line as someone at the back span out. But it's nice and clean from most people. Mad Knife is definitely taking a spin out of that pack. But the top four races are still going out with Roy Klops. We've got Bob Hunt, we've got Mr. Salt, and we've got Trevor, who have managed to keep themselves away from all that trouble. And there is already gaps opening up from the crashes we've had already. So we're on board with Chase Cam, with Trevor Hump in second place as he's attacking Roy Klops. But goes a little bit wide and loses the opportunity to attack. But we are going to stay on board with this race now, as Trevor Hump in second place is, of course, going to push as hard as he can. But we might see the inside line here from Bob. Remember, they can slipstream each other this evening, which can give the advantage to the cars behind. So we could see a little slingshot manoeuvre coming soon from Bob, but we'll stay on board with this and see what we get. So Trevor Hunt in second, Bob in third, with Roy Klops leading the pack, and Mr. Salt down in fourth place, having already started the race in first on the podium, has lost those positions, but not far away from the front racers, Jamie. And generally that was very, very clean racing from everyone at the start.
Yeah, there was an incident straight off the line, and then one crash just round the first corner. But other than that, it seems like they're all away.
All away indeed. And Bob Hump, as we thought, Trevor Hump did actually move aside there, and Bob actually slingshotted past him. So a little team manoeuvre there. And is Bob now going to take advantage of his newfound second position and try and attack first place? He's right up behind him at the moment, just trying to gain all those little seconds as there's a crash there in the background. People flying all over the place, but we are going to stay on board with this race because, of course, this is where the money is. This is where everyone wants to be at the top of the grid. But Roy Klops, Jamie, doing really well to hold on to first place so far.
Well, he's proven in practice he had the pace, and probably a bit disappointing in qualifying, but he's showing it here, although Bob's got a great run on him on here.
Here we go, he's going to make the manoeuvre now. He just goes out wide, gets the inside line. It's really solid racing. Don't think there was even a touch there, so that was really, really good from Bob to take first place position. But Roy Klops will, of course, have 47 minutes left to fight back. But that top four pack is certainly starting to open, although they're only a few seconds behind Took, who finds himself in fifth place. There is a little bit of a pack starting to form at the top of the grid as Mr. Salt makes an attack and takes Trevor in third. So the places are going up and down this evening, Jamie, and we could see this for the remainder of the race.
Yeah, Took, that's a great show. Took really solid in fifth. He's got a nice gap behind him as well, having a great race.
Really good. Not Benjamin has joined us on the channel. So I missed the start and got disqualified. So unfortunately, Not Benjamin has not managed to make it for the race in the end. So congratulations to him. But we still have lots of other races as Mr. Salt is in third, just in behind Roy Klops in second. And you can see, Jamie, again, this slipstream really coming into effect as the cars really get up behind each other.
Yeah, those bonnet captures really show just how close they get to each other on, sort of 200 miles an hour.
Exactly right. Roy Klops did pull across there just to try and shake him off, but Mr. Salt has used the slipstream well and overtakes into second place. Curly-cified wig. I'm going to call you Curly. That's the easiest way to do it. He says, "You are my winner." Not sure who that's aimed at. I can only imagine that's aimed at Not Benjamin. Thank you for joining us on the channel this evening. So Bob currently in first place with Mr. Salt in second, Roy Klops in third, and Trevor Hump in fourth. Took, though, is actually in the pits already, so we're not sure what's happened there, but he's had to jump in the pits to get something sorted. So he was up in fifth place, but now finds himself in the pits and losing places fast. But Trevor Hump, just as we jump on board with him, has a spin into the side and loses his position on the track. He's currently still in 4th, but cars are whizzing past him now. So the mistake there from Trevor, and he finds himself into the grass verge and more importantly into the wall. And he's now down in 7th place. So the gaps are starting to open up now, and Bob has a 2-second lead over Mr. Salt in 2nd, with Roy Klopp still in 3rd, and Sin, Jamie, as we said earlier in the stream, racing really well and finds himself in 4th place.
Just hanging on in there, yeah. What I would say, we cut back to that just as it was happening, but I think Trevor and Roy Klopp's actually had a big touch, which is what spun Trevor out, rather than a spin of his own making.
Okay, interesting stuff.
I'm not sure whose fault that was.
I'm sure we'll get the race reaction later on. So Not Benjamin says he's got his fastest lap ever in qualifying, and was last. So as we see Rob 3, oh, big collision there as the bonnet flies off, and we're on board with Sin, who has a huge collision with another car and goes spiralling down the table. Although he's still in 6th place at the moment, you've got to say that slowdown there from the crash is going to allow other cars as he pulls straight across to go into the pits. So again, that's how easy it is to lose your position. A little bit of a concentration error, and Sin goes wildly off the track. And also, Jamie, importantly at the top of the grid, Bob is now in 3rd place position. So he's obviously had some sort of incident which has let Roy Klops and Mr. Salt in as well.
We've seen, we've said this again. I think Sin and Rob 3 were having a battle there, and they had a touch, and again that's what pushed Sin off into the wall there.
So let's stay on board with Bob Hunt now. So he's got to be disappointed to have given up his 1st place position. He did have 2 seconds on the lead on 2nd place at one point, but now he finds himself in 4th position, just 7 seconds off the pace now, after what we can only imagine would have been an error. We were on board with another crash as that happened. Obviously we'll try and bring you all the action as best as we can, but Jamie, it's going to be so difficult to keep up with everything that happens on this race, isn't it?
I mean, it's impossible. We're trying to see all the battles, but there's so many all over the track. It'd be really fascinating to find out what happened to Bob, because he seemed like he sort of had that one in the bag. He'd made his way to the front. He had a bit of a clean air. He was driving well. But some things obviously happened, and even Roy Klops is back in front of him now.
Exactly, and we're looking in the chat, and Not Benjamin 2010, who's of course in the Discord channel, is Bob's apparently claiming he was taken out. So we will have to watch back on the replay, perhaps after the race, if it does make a massive difference, and see what happened. But we've got claims that he's being taken out. So we're on board with Rob 3. He's in 4th place position at the moment. He's 8 seconds off the pace, but that really doesn't matter with over 40 minutes still remaining of this race. It only takes one crash. As we see there from Bob, I think that was Bob, or it might have been one of the back markers. No, it wasn't Bob, it must have been one of the back markers. Spins out right in front of Rob. So we've got people being lapped already, which is making things confusing for us here in the studio. But cars all over the shop, and even Rob in 4th place has taken some hefty damage. As we jump on board with Jimmy H Official, currently in 10th place position. We've also got Not Benjamin in the chat saying someone's wheel just fell off their desk. Guitaro's wheel's just fallen off his desk at home. So I imagine that caused him some major issues while he was racing. So there we go. I think things have settled down a little bit now with cars and gaps starting to appear, Jamie, but loads of action we've seen already tonight.
Yeah, and it is sort of working out as we predicted before the race, that there are some big gaps. So the leaders are catching the back markers, and Jimmy's just going a bit wide there. So it's making, even for the leaders, they're having to sort of, because the lap's so short, constantly pick their way through other cars. And we've already seen mistakes at the front. Exactly that.
As you said, because of the short times, there's so much to contend with if you're at the top of the grid. It's all well and good having the pace, but you've got to overtake people almost at a constant rate, which gives you something to think about. So we're on board with Bob Hunt 3. He's currently in 3rd place, just 4 seconds off the pace though, so he has managed to eat away at the time, because at one point he was 7 seconds behind. So Mr. Salt in 1st place position, Roy Klops 4 seconds behind in 2nd. So we're going to stay on board with this race now with Bob Hunt 3 and Roy Klops, because this one's really close. Bob Hunt clearly trying to get in the slipstream stream here, Jamie, and is he going to have the pace to do it?
There's back markers all in the middle of this fight, but he's done really well there.
So he has got a back marker in front of him he's got to overtake now. Is he going to do it with ease? Yes, it looks like he is, again getting the inside line. So Bob Hump up into second place position with a really good overtake there on Roy Klops. So Roy Klops finds himself in third position after that. So we're on board again with Rob 3. Rob 3 coming up right behind and overtakes Roy Klops as well. So Roy Klops loses third place position as Rob snaps up third place. And it's some really good racing there from Rob. So we're on board again with Trevor in fifth. He's going to go for an overtake manoeuvre as well. So again, all these boys are getting the pace on Roy Klops here. And I wonder whether there's something wrong with Roy Klops' car. But as we see a big crash in front, and that's going to affect things. That is going to affect things. Although, was that just some back markers?
That was Rob 3 taken out.
Rob 3 was taken out. Yes, he's down to fifth place position. Wow, so that's how easy it is, as you said, Jamie, for the back markers to get involved.
I mean, Rob 3 was just minding his own business. I'm not sure who the back marker is. It's hard to tell on this. They just had their own incident. Nothing malicious, just a spin, pure bad luck. Straight into the side of Rob, and he's lost a couple of places.
Well, you say, lost a couple of places. He's down in fifth place position now, and he's going to be really unhappy with that. As Roy Klops, after being overtaken a few times, is still in fourth place position, so managed to get through the dangerous traffic well. So thank you for joining us here. We are under 40 minutes remaining of this NASCAR endurance race, and we've got thrills and spills all over the shop as we're on board with Jimmy, who makes a really smooth manoeuvre on Raz in 10th to snap up 9th place position. So he's into the top 10 for the first time in a long time, Jimmy. He's racing really well this evening, trying to bring it home for the Noob Gamers channel. As one of the founders of the stream, we really shouldn't have favouritism on here, but we do want Jimmy to do well this evening. So racing really solidly so far.
Yeah, I've been watching that battle on the timings for a while. He's been closing and closing and closing. We just managed to catch him there just as he was getting the move done. So really good racing into the top 10. Really
good from him. So we're on board with Crichton at the moment. Now Crichton is in 8th place position, so he's got Jimmy behind him, but he is attacking Sin. So he's just under a second off the pace from Sin. And the time is slowly closing, and it's got a bit of fluctuation all the time. So we could see this battle go on for a while. But as soon as some back markers get involved, I imagine things will start changing. I'm just looking further down the grid now. And Tuke, who was at one point in 5th place position, is now in 16th place. So you can see how quickly the timings do change. So it's pretty crazy scenes. So it's all going on here, and it's only going to take one crash, and we could see a major shake-up as Rob smashes himself. Although there must have been a touch there by the car that's also off the track, I can only imagine. He's going straight across the track and nearly takes out Rolfie. Rolfie has taken himself out trying to evade that as Rob gets himself back on the track. So 2 big incidents there. Rob 3, we've got crashes, we've got smashes, and there's another crash in the background there. So we are going to get a replay on the screen of that little incident there, but again, just to try and keep up on board with everything, we're trying our best. But let's have a look at the replay now. So we're on board with 2. We went to Rob 3, who just went straight into the wall and had the spin, and he came straight across the track here and just narrowly missed. Look how close that was to Rolfie, but Rolfie, trying to evade, unfortunately went into the wall himself and lost that position. So in trying to do the right thing, actually ended up costing himself some positions, as Mad Knife takes a turn for the worst and bins it straight into the wall, unfortunately not affecting anyone else's race there. So we've got it all going on indeed. What happened to Roy, do we know? We're being asked. Roy Klops, good question, Jamie. I'm not sure if you've been keeping up with it, but it looks like Roy Klops has lost some further positions.
Yeah, he was just slowly being done on the slipstream, wasn't he, by a few positions. I can't remember if he had a spin or not. There's been so many spins. We've seen how easy.
Oh, we're going to have a big crash at the back. I think Jimmy's going to have a massive smash if it was the right car. No, he's managed to get around it. There was a car in the middle of the track, and I thought we were going to have a major incident there, but we just about missed it. But as you said, Jamie, there's so much going on. We're trying our best to keep up. Jimmy touches a little bit of grass, but we're back on board with Sin. So Sin's in 7th place position, just behind Roy Klops at the moment. So Roy Klops down in 6th. He was higher up in the grid earlier on, but a few little mistakes, few little errors have crept in from everybody this evening, and this is how we sit at the moment. So Sin driving a car without a bonnet, with people all around him. Jimmy H actually up to 8th place now, but 7 seconds off of Sin. So we have, Jamie, got a little bit of a pack from 1 to 7.
Yeah, Mr. Soul. Oh,
as we jump back on board with
gone.
Jimmy.
Oh no, that's
and
Raz.
He takes out Raz, and Raz all over the place. I mean, these cars are getting battered. So Raz down in 9th is going to lose a couple of positions there as well. So I obviously we can't lay the blame at anyone's door there. We didn't quite see the full action, but certainly there were some nudges there. But it is also going to cost Jimmy a place as he's down in 9th place position at the moment. So it's all going on, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us home as Jimmy gets a touch. Is he going to keep it on the track? Yes, he is. Is he going to be pushed out wide? He is. Right onto the sides here. So this is a back marker for Jimmy. It's not even anyone he's racing. And these are the sort of problems. These are the sort of problems it can cause. So we've got his bonnet is sort of hanging out the side of his car at the moment, as he's trying to attack one of these back markers, and does get round him well there. He's got the inside line, so we should see him overtake neatly there as his bonnet flies up in the air. But pressure all abound as the back marker tries to attack him back. We got someone off the track, so we're just staying on board with this at the moment, just to show you how much of a difference these back markers make, because Jimmy is actually in a solid 9th position, but this back marker is giving him all sorts of problems and really making him think.
Yeah, I'm not sure who it is. It's interesting, none of the cars seem to have their bonnets left.
No, I think that's the first thing to go, isn't it? First thing to go was the bonnet this evening.
I can see now why they decided to pop the damage off.
Yeah, I think with damage on this evening we would have had a race over by now, I thought. So just under 35 minutes remaining, so still plenty of action still to come ahead of us. As Jimmy H is again just fighting with people towards the back of the grid or even at the front of the grid. You know, there's cars all over the place. He's becoming a back marker himself. You know, and bonnets are bouncing off cars in game, as Not Benjamin says, and the back marker Jimmy is fighting with there has another little nudge and sends himself into the side, and it's we're on board with Sin. So Sin trying to attack Roy Klops in 6th place. So he's managed to keep it on the track for a fair bit of time now. And he's got to be hoping for a mistake. So we can see Roy Klops in front. He's going to try and take this back marker here. There's a car going backwards. So Roy Klops take over the back marker well. Can Sin do the same? Yes. As a car's coming, but trying to get himself back on the track as well. So both of them managed to avoid what's going on there. So these two are still going at it for that 6th place position. And you can certainly see, I mean, we said it time and time again, Jamie, how much these races have got to contend with just all over the place.
I mean, I don't have a clue what's going on there, and you know, we're directing the race. It's just madness with the back markers. Everyone's getting mixed in. And what I would say is, though, top 2 driving such a solid race. Out front, Bob, surprisingly, has dropped right back off the pace.
Yeah, so Bob's 17 seconds behind the top 2 at the moment. So Trevor, as you said pre-race, Jamie, actually, you know, showing his mettle this evening and up into 2nd place. So we'll just jump on board with this race for the top 2 at the moment. So Trevor Hump just a couple of seconds behind Mr. Salt in 1st. You can see the gap, but he's got a back marker to contend with here. So we've only got to hope he's got to get round this cleanly. Because what we don't want to see here is a back marker taking out 2nd place. Although that might be exciting for you guys at home, we actually want to see a good battle for the 1st place position. So we're going to stay on board with Trevor Hump unless we're alerted to any other particular action as he tries to catch Mr. Salt, who's racing really, really well in 1st place. But you can see, Jamie, you know, the last lap times, Mr. Salt at the moment is on a 52 second and Trevor Hump with a 49. So he is catching, you know, there is an opportunity here for Trevor.
I think Mr. Salt lost a couple of seconds overtaking that back marker.
So I mean, that's how easy it can be. Yeah. So Trevor Hunt here just managing to keep it on the track really well in pursuit of Mr. Salt in 1st place. Remember, Mr. Salt did actually start 1st place podium from qualifying, but that didn't make too much of a difference earlier on in the race as he was overtaken early doors, but has managed to get himself back out in the lead now. So it's been some really good driving from Mr. Salt up in 1st place, but Trevor is hot on his tail, and you can see the time slowly creeping in now. It was out towards 2 seconds, and now we're near a second. So Trevor Hump has really got some pace here, and I think we're probably, perhaps a minute or so away from seeing an attack on 1st place here, Jamie. What do you think?
Yeah, he's just got inside the window where it's flagged it as a close battle on track, so just around the 1 second mark. So I think we should probably stick with this. This is for the lead, obviously, so a really important one.
Exactly, and as T-Mac points out, he just needs to try and get in his slipstream, and if he can do that, it gives him a really good opportunity. So still a little bit of a distance between them at the moment, but as you said, Jamie, the time between them just a second now, and he's closing in well.
A great lap from Salty there, actually, into the 48s, but Trevor's still 0.3 quicker.
So gaining all the time. But as ever, back markers are abound, and they have some to contend with here. So Mr. Salt's going to be the first person to try and overtake this back marker here, and he's going to hope to do it smoothly as he does, so that's really good driving from Mr. Salt. Trevor's going to look to do the same, although it looks like he's going to have to try and do it on the corner, but no. Trevor Hunt did get in front of him before that corner as well, so hopefully that hasn't cost him too much time, as he went out a little bit wider than what he would have liked on that corner. But the time is still at a second, so we're under the second mark now. Trevor Hunt pushing hard. He is going to try and get in the slipstream of Mr. Salt, and if he can do that, it'll give him a really good opportunity to get into first place. So we're just going to keep on board with this battle, because this is the most important battle we've got on the track at the moment, because it's for the all-important first place position. How do you think Trevor's chances stack up here then, Jamie?
Well, he was my pre-race pick, so I'm sticking with that. I thought he's a very good, very quick, consistent driver, but Trevor seems to have something here. He seems to be just got the edge on pace. So if it stays like this, of course, what we need to remember in this race is the strategy of pit stops. So we're sort of approaching halfway now. What are they going to do? When are they going to pit?
Exactly right. Yeah, we've still got that little bit. Oh no! Trevor Hunt spun it. Trevor Hunt has spun it on what looked like an easy corner.
Oh, and Salt. Oh no.
No, it wasn't Mr. Salk. So Trevor Hunt has spun it, and he's lost some time there. Trev swearing in the Discord channel as he's taking other cars out down the home straight. So he's lost some major time on Mr. Salk, and it is carnage on the track. We've got cars flicking up all over the place. Wow, wow, wow! And it is absolute chaos in the chat, we are told. So there we go. We're going to get a replay of all that action on your screens now, as we saw some real major incidents down that home straight. So wow, that was really exciting. So we can just see the replay there. Trevor Hunt going off the track, and as he tries to right himself back on the track, this is where the interesting thing comes. He puts his foot on the accelerator too quickly, spins back round, takes other cars out, and gets in the way of everyone, and causes some major headaches there for everyone. And now he's actually lost second place position entirely and finds himself in third place, Jamie.
Yeah, he had 16-second lead on Bob, but that's all gone with that crash. So unlucky. I'm not sure what happened there. It looked like he just lost it on his own, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it didn't look like he had much competition around him, and he simply just spanned that into the wall. So really unfortunate stuff there from Trevor, but you can see how easy that was. You know, one spin and his whole 17-second gap he had on Bob has now been eaten up. So Mr. Salt has a job in his hands. Yes, he's in first place. Yes, he's got a massive gap, but one mistake could cost him that position. So, you know, with 27 minutes left remaining, with pit stops to come as well, you know, this race is far, far from over. T-Mac, yeah, T-Mac just asked a question in the chat. Is fuel and tyre wear on? I can confirm that it is. So they have got that to contend with as well this evening. Sorry to interrupt you there, Jamie.
Sorry, yeah, I think it's actually accelerated tyre wear as well.
Which certainly make sure you need to go in the pits to sort that out for sure. So we're on board with YX. So YX at the moment finds himself middle of the pack in 10th place. There's a good pack of cars here, but it's hard to tell who's who and what's going off. Someone is going off the track there. So we're back on board with Rob 3. Rob 3, who earlier in the race was up to the heady heights of 3rd and 4th, finds himself down in 9th. So he's got a couple of...
He has made a pit stop.
He has made a pit stop indeed. So, you know, he's gone in early. So he might get the opportunity to catch back up. Sin's also in the pits at the moment as well. And Not Benjamin says someone's just got disqualified. I'm not sure if we've got any confirmation on your screen of who that was, Jamie, but we're told in the chat that we've got a disqualification.
No, they've just disappeared. We are down to 16. We were on 18, so we know we lost Benjamin right at the start. I'm not sure who the other one is.
Okay, if we can... we're being told on the chat it was Mad Knife.
Mad Knife?
Yeah, so Mad Knife is... has lost ourselves there. So it might be an opportunity to, if he is still on Discord, we might try and bring him into the commentary box just to get his view of exactly what happened. I'm not sure if you want to go and scope out the scene, Jamie, to see how it's going in the Discord channel.
I can drag him in if you want.
Yeah, go. Let's. Well, I'd probably go and chat to him just to see if he wants to speak. He might be in a rage, maybe. But if he is happy to come in, then let's bring him in. So
I'll go and check.
we're on board with Trevor Hunt now. He's just a second behind Bob, so he's managed to do well to regain his composure after his earlier spin.
I'm going to bring him in.
We're bringing him in.
Here he is.
Mad Knife, thank you for joining us in the commentary box. We understand from the chat and from what we can see on our screens, you have unfortunately left the race. Can you explain what happened?
Yeah, gutted. I'm not sure who it was even, actually, but I was trying to lap someone, and they had a bit of a moment and ended up pushing me into the wall at the entrance of the pit lane, which pushed me into the pits at full speed.
Oh no!
So you were disqualified for speed limit?
Speeding in the pit lane, yeah.
That is very unfortunate.
It is.
Wow, so not
Didn't even make it to halfway.
Yeah, not even a cool disqualification then. As Trevor Hunt, has he span again? Trevor Hunt has span again as we just jumped on board with him there. Sorry to interrupt you a little bit there, man, but Trevor Hunt having an awful time at the moment. Was catching Bob, but you know, he's had a spin. But Mad Knife, just talk us through how difficult it's been to race out there today.
These cars are so hard to follow other ones. I've just about got the hang of it if you're going around on your own, but when you're following someone else, you just lose all of your downforce, and it's all over the shop. And some of these guys that are out there haven't done anywhere near as much practice as I have this week.
Yeah,
Crucial moment, Ryan. Mr. Salt's is in the pits, making his pit stop from the lead.
Okay, so Mr. Salt has given up first place position to jump himself in the pits. We can only imagine that was tactical, and he's going to try and fight his way back up. Bob yet to pit, but Trevor's, of course, and we're told on the chat that he actually spun going into the pits. So nearly got a disqualification himself there and didn't actually spin into the pits and do a Mad Knife. But hey ho, there we go. So Mr. Salt coming back on track. But what would you say, Mad Knife, has been the hardest bit about this race? Is it the overtaking of the back markers? Is it someone overtaking you? What's the hardest bit you found to navigate?
The start was tricky. The three abreast for the start is really hard. But the once things spread out, it's a little bit easier. But it's following traffic, whether that be lap traffic or for position traffic. Either way, it's difficult, and also the pressure of having someone on your back end trying to get past you and wondering what they're going to do.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, the visibility you've guys got inside the cockpits this evening must be really difficult to contend with as well. Yeah,
there's not a lot. The mirrors aren't ever so useful. I mean, some of us are using the spotters, which are really useful, that at least tell you when you've got somebody on your inside or on your outside. But
yeah, we can see everyone's windscreen is cracked, which obviously makes it even harder.
Yeah, it does. It's not ever so easy. They all look like they've hit a pedestrian.
No one's got a bonnet left, Mad Knife.
No, I didn't have one of those after about a couple of laps, I think.
And we can bring you a little bit of good news. And Lang has done exactly the same as you by the looks of it.
No!
Mad Knife, and is disqualified from the race. And we've also lost Sin. He's had to pull out of the race because the pit crew didn't change his tyres.
Right.
Although electrical failure, Odyssey. So Odyssey has got an electrical failure at the moment trying to sort out. So it's all kicking off here this evening.
Bob is in the pits, Ryan. So this is the time where Mr. Salt needs to really get the hammer down and see if he can get back the lead. This is for the lead. So
Mr. Salt in third place at the moment, trying to catch up Bob in first. So Bob's in the pits at the moment. Mr. Salt, I think, has actually done him here on the pits. Although he's been caught in some traffic. Mr. Salt has been caught in some traffic. He's been pushed onto the grass. Manages to keep it on board, though, and that was some really good driving there. And to manage to keep that on, because if he would have had a spin there, he would have lost all his advantage. And I think, Jamie, that might have been fine with Crichton. I'm not sure if we can jump on board with Crichton and see where he is. Because Crichton was up in second. No, he's in the pits as well. So Mr. Salt in second place.
Here comes Bob.
and Bob coming out of the pits now. So Mr. Salt is going to be
close.
pushed. This is going to be really close coming out of the pits now. Let's see if he can do it. So Mr. Salt's going down the home straight as Bob is coming out of the pits. This is going to be so tight. Who's going to take the all-important first place position at this stage of the race? So we're on board with Mr. Salt, and I think he's done it. The race standings is telling us he has done it by a whisker. Really close stuff though.
Bob's still in the pit
Still
lane.
there, just coming out of the end of the pit lane there. So Mr. Salt done really well there. But yeah, thanks. Thank you for talking about my jumper though, Sin. I do like my jumper myself. Thank you very much. So yes, thank you for joining us in the commentary box though, Mad Knife. Really appreciate you having a little bit of an insight for everyone at home. And I imagine we'll chuck you back into general now, and you can go and stir the pot in there.
No worries, bud. Thanks very much.
So there we go, Jamie. That was Mad Knife joining us in the commentary box there this evening, as we've lost a couple more races. But Mr. Salt has his lead back, and can he maintain it for the rest of the race, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's actually a much bigger gap than we thought. He's got a good 16-second lead, so he's obviously had a really good outlap.
Let's just see what else we've got in the chat. So Curly says, wait, this isn't real. Rolfie is going to be on the podium. He might be on the podium, but he's down in 8th place at the moment, so it's not looking very likely. Not really looking very likely at the moment. Not Benjamin says we've got problems in the pits. Tyres are not being changed, and he's not sure who else had it, but they're heading to the pits for a second time. So some people are having to pit twice here this evening because the pit crews aren't doing their jobs, which has got to be disappointing for the racers, Jamie.
It's never great, is it? You put in all this effort, you come in for some tyres, they're having a cup of tea.
Unbelievable. So Jimmy in the pits currently giving up his high lead positions he had there. Been there, done that, says Fred on the chat. Must be really disappointing when that happens. But Mr. Salt in first place, 17 seconds ahead. But of course, Jamie, that was the amount of time that we saw Trevor lose earlier in the race. So we know this race isn't over until it's over.
Well, you can see Trevor, he was right on Mr. Salt's tail, wasn't he? We really thought he was going to make a move. Couple of incidents, 30 seconds behind.
Yeah, simple as that. So, you know, if a back marker pulls out in the wrong place or gets in the way of Mr. Salt, you know, it could cause some problems. So we've got to just see what happens as we go on. So Sin City says he's so gutted about the bug in the game which has caused him to retire. Yeah, I mean, it's really bad. You know, we have always highlighted a few issues with Project Cars, and unfortunately that appears to be one of them, which is unfortunate for these guys racing here this evening. As it looks like Jimmy's making his way out of the pits now, so he's back in the race in 7th place position. He's got to be happy with how he's fared so far, Jamie.
Really good, actually. He's having a really smooth race, yeah. I think now that all the pit stops are being completed with the leaders, things that the leaderboard is going back to a more realistic status now, so it's starting to shake out, and we can see the top 3 or 4 are probably as we expected.
Yeah, exactly. But from the timings I can see on my screen, there's certainly still a few battles in the air. Certainly 4th and 5th are looking pretty close. We've got a little bit of a battle depending on how the pits go, down in 8th and 9th maybe. And even down the back end of the grid, you know, we've got 11th and 12th. And there's only a few seconds split in them as well. So there's still a few battles on our hands here for us to keep up to contention with, as well as people overtaking the back markers. So still plenty to play for here, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I'd give another shout out for Jimmy having a cracking race. He's got a nice gap in 7th. You know, he's driving really consistently.
Yeah, really good race for him. So we're on board with Crichton Alpha. Now, Crichton Alpha, regular on the Thursday channel, racing in the Noob Gamers Championships. He's just half a second behind Rob 3, so he's looking for the all-important slipstream here, and it looks like he's going to get it because he is catching him fast. So if you can just keep him behind him, we could see a slingshot manoeuvre which sends... although Rob 3's lost it. Rob 3 has lost it into the wall and basically opened the door for Crichton Alpha to snap up that position. So really disappointing as Rob 3 pulls straight across and nearly takes out one of the Humphreys, which would have caused, you know, major complications there if he would have gone across
that was close
and taken one of those out. So we should see a replay of Rob losing it there with the pressure from Crichton Alpha. But Crichton Alpha up in 4th place position. I know he's a friend of the Humphreys as well, and you know he's going to be really happy with 4th place being up there with his boys.
Well, he did what he needed to do. He put the pressure on, and the guy in front made a mistake.
Yeah, simple as that. You know, with as we heard from Mad and Ive earlier, you know, having someone ride it behind you, the drivers this evening really are feeling the pressure, and it's not a nice feeling because you've got to be thinking all the time. And with it being such a long race, you know, there's only 15 minutes left. But don't forget, this is a 50-minute race in total, so concentration levels at this point in the race are going to wane a little bit. So we've just got to see how this transpires going forwards.
Jimmy back in the pits, so he's obviously had some sort of issue there.
Yeah, disappointing from Jimmy, but I have to say it's one of the most difficult names I'm going to ever have to say on this channel, but I am going to attempt it anyway because they have just followed us this evening, and that is a Stretchholtschachtel. If I've said that correctly, I mean, I've had a bit of a miracle there, but really appreciate your follow. Thank you for joining us on the stream this evening as you are here for the last 15 minutes of this NASCAR 50-minute endurance race, and any support on this channel this evening is fantastic, so really appreciate you joining us here this evening. Look at these cars though, Jamie. I mean, good job damage isn't on, as we said earlier, but these cars are bruised and battered, and they're certainly going to look even worse by the end of the race, I can imagine.
They are indeed. It looks like we've lost Jimmy. He's disappeared.
Jimmy's just retired as well. I wonder whether it's the same thing as the wheels.
But he did come in the pits twice, yeah.
He's come in the pits twice, so he might have had a similar problem. So the bug of Project Cars 2 might have cost someone else a race here, as we're down to 13 races now. So we've had few retirements from technical issues. We've had few retirements from bugs in the game. It's all going on off the track this evening as well as on it, as people are, you know, losing their places in the game thanks to these bugs cropping up. So, you know, lots still can happen in this race, and we can only hope that those bugs don't affect anyone else going forwards. But again, I wonder whether we can get Jimmy into the chat at some point just to see if we can get a bit of reaction from him there as we jump on board with Roy Klops. So Roy Klops just 3 seconds behind Crichton Alpha, trying to take over one of the back markers. Although he bins it into the wall, that's going to lose him a little bit of time there and a little bit of pace as he goes around these corners. So he's got some work to do to catch up Crichton Alpha, who's in 4th place position at the moment. But there is a decent gap though, Jamie, as you can see, between these top 3. You know, decent 15-second gaps between the 3 of them.
Yeah, although Bob is slowly reeling him in, but it is very gradual. I'm not sure he's going to have enough time at this pace.
No, I mean, with 13 minutes left, he's going to have to go some to make up 14 seconds with the lap times that were going in.
He's taken 2 in the last lap, or 2.
Well, you know, you never know, but yeah.
No.
You never know.
One issue.
Exactly. So Stretchholtschachtel, again, terrible name to try and say. Apologies for trying to do it. You know, PC2 disconnect issues still so bad. We don't think it's necessarily disconnect issues, but it still seems to be people's tyres not getting replaced and things like that. So yeah, there are still a few bugs in the game, unfortunately, which have cost people their positions, and that's just unfortunately a part of what we've got to contend with. So. That's the way it is, but Crichton is stuck behind Invertigo at the moment, as we're told in the chat, so he's trying to get round Invertigo down in 12th place, so you know, a proper back marker here for Crichton to try and overtake. But Invertigo earlier on in procedures did have some decent pace, and unfortunately finds himself down the lower end of the grid, but he is going to prove a challenge here for Crichton Alpha to contend with. So we're going to just stay on board with this just to show you guys at home how difficult it is. Crichton Alpha in 4th, Invertigo down in 12th, and at the moment, you know, you couldn't really tell the 2 apart.
Yeah, little they're sliding all over the place. I wonder whether they're starting to struggle with the tyres now.
Yeah, so Crichton, we thought he was going to go for the proper slipstream slingshot there. Still got the pace into that corner. He might get a nudge. No, manages to escape a little nudge. So in the end, some really solid racing there by Crichton Alpha, but he has got another back marker as we're on board with Invertigo, and he spins. He spins, and he's all over the track, and we could get some carnage. No, he manages to avoid someone there so narrowly, and that could have been a real problem, but hey-ho. Some more action on the Twitch channel as Curly has followed us. Again, Curly, thank you for joining us early in the stream, and really appreciate the follow from you this evening. And Dragon Slayer has dropped us a host this evening. Really appreciate any and all support we get on this channel. As I said, we're trying to build something here. You know, we're fairly new. We're 4 or 5 weeks into streaming regularly twice a week. and any and all support is really, really welcome. So we really appreciate you guys getting involved in that way this evening. So we're on board with Trevor Hunt. Trevor Hunt's in third place. He was well up there earlier, but had the spin, which cost him, probably you could probably say, Jamie, it was probably about 20 seconds in all, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, he was right up there, so he obviously had that issue as well coming into the pit lane, which we're not 100% clear on what happened. But I'd say without those two spins, he'd be right in the mix at the top there.
He would be indeed. So he's 14 seconds behind Bob at the moment in second place. Really appreciate the love on the stream from Not Benjamin saying we're doing good. Yes, we're trying to do our best, Not Benjamin. There's a lot of action to keep up with here, but we are doing the best that we can. And Curly there with a little Santa emote, which gotta love that on the channel. So look at this, we're in the cockpit of Mr. Salt. So Mr. Salt's got a back marker to contend with here. His windscreen is absolutely smashed to pieces from all the action we had this evening. He's in first place position as we speak, and he's going to try and overtake one of the back markers to maintain his first place position. So it's really important here he doesn't make a mistake. So he's going for the slipstream. He's done that really well, and he's going down the outside. So it looks like he's done that really cleanly, and that's the sort of racing he's going to have to continue to do for the rest of the race if he's got any chance of keeping on to this first place. And because we have seen issues with back markers up and down the field. At this point in the race, Jamie, do you think this is the top three done, or do we think there's still more thrills and spills to come?
I mean, we've been made to look foolish before for saying things like that, but it does appear they're pretty consistent. Although that Bob has brought that lead down, that gap down to 13 seconds with that back marker. Mr. Salt does seem particularly cautious with the back marker, so he does lose a bit of time. But as we've seen, cautious is probably the way to go.
Exactly right. I mean, one little mistake, trying to overtake a back marker, you'd rather bide your time and do it cleanly than try a risky manoeuvre on a corner, for example, because we saw earlier how easy it is to lose valuable seconds. As T-Mac rightly says, it is never over until the fat lady sings. So we're on board with Bob Hunt 3. Engine abound, as we can see, with the bonnets well and truly off most of these cars this evening. He's got a decent lead over Trevor in third. But as Jamie alluded to earlier, he's slowly chipping away at Mr. Salt's time. But with just over 8 minutes left of the race, I wonder whether it's enough time to do it, as he gets an easy pass on a back marker there, who was struggling to go around the corner with any decent pace. So Bob Hunt had an easy opportunity there to get around one of the back markers. So with over 8 minutes left, he's going to have a lot of work to do. Without a mistake from Mr. Salt to get himself back up in first place position. But do you think, Jamie, at the end of the day, if you get a top three, do you think generally they're going to be happy with their positioning?
I think Trevor will. We know Bob's a board winner, so I don't know. But I think you're totally right. Without a mistake from Mr. Salt, it does seem like this one is probably his.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got another disqualification. His wheels falling off his desk again. So Not Benjamin, he's in the Discord channel bringing us all the information. Because, if we were in the Discord channel trying to do this, you guys at home wouldn't better hear us at all. So we really appreciate Not Benjamin 2010 in the Discord channel bringing us all the latest news from the goings-on from the races. So we're down to 12, Jamie.
We've lost 6 people, yeah, and it all seems from game issues, which is quite disappointing.
Yeah, really disappointing for the race this evening, although it's never a good thing when your wheel falls off your desk and that causes you to leave the race either. So all sorts.
Oh, I thought you meant the wheel on the car.
No, his actual wheel he's racing with has fallen off his desk.
Yeah.
And
that is awkward, yeah.
That's what it is. So what we're going to try and do here, as Ben says himself, he is the man in the pit. So we're going to try and go live into the paddock with Ben now and see if we can bring him in for a little bit of reaction for what's going on. So let's head down to the paddock and bring him straight in. So we're in the paddock now with Not Benjamin 2010. How's things looking in the Discord channel? How are the races faring with only 6 minutes left?
They are surprisingly happy. Everyone is very cheerful.
Really cheerful so far. That is
very
surprising.
Cheerful.
Is
yes,
surprising.
I expect a lot more swearing, to be honest. Everyone's very happy. They're very happy they're putting on a good show.
Well, of course, that's the main thing the people at home want. Who would you say so far has had the most unlucky disqualification from the race?
Can I put myself up for that?
You can, of course, yeah.
Yeah, although I think Guitario has to take the biscuit for that one, though. Losing his wheel is just amazing.
Yeah, really good stuff. Gormy Baby has joined us in the chat with a bugger. Now, Gorm was meant to be racing in this, but we must have lost him earlier on the race, or whether he didn't make it. Do we know what happened with Gorm at all in the channel?
No. He's not in the chat.
Okay, fine. So he just says, oops. So obviously something's gone wrong with him, because he was, of course, meant to be racing in this earlier on this evening. That is Guitario.
Ah, there we go.
There we go. So Guitario is Gorm, and Gorm's wheel fell off his desk. Fantastic stuff there. So fantastic stuff. But yeah, generally though, everyone pretty happy in the paddock.
Everyone's very, very happy. They're talking well, communicating well. Yeah, everyone's very happy.
Perfect, good. Well, thank you for joining us very briefly, just to give us a feeling of how the
Thanks
races
for
are going, and hopefully you can continue to bring us some live information for the remaining 5 minutes of the race.
I'll do my best.
So there we go, Jamie. Drivers are pretty happy, so we're told. If you were racing in this, do you think you would be happy with how this race has transpired so far?
Well, it depends what happened to me, but yeah, it seems like a great race. Good to see everyone's in nice spirits. Bit of a battle here unfolding.
So we're on board with Rolfie at the moment. He's trying to take some back markers as well. So he's got some decent gaps either side of him, but he's going to make a manoeuvre here. So yes, as Gormy Baby says, he disqualified himself. I wonder whether we can get the race director in the channel, though it doesn't look like he's in the paddock with the other racers at the moment. So it doesn't look like we can get any live reaction from Jimmy H there. But we're on board with Rolfie for the time being. We're told he had to just shoot off Jimmy. But big thanks to Jimmy for putting this race on. It's certainly been a great one for us to be involved with at home. So 4 minutes left, Jamie. What do we think we're going to see for the remainder of the race?
Well, it's all sort of settled down now, hasn't it? There's no real close battles. This 4th and 5th is probably the closest we've got on the track. But everyone's pretty consistent now. I think they're just trying to bring it home.
Exactly that. So all we're looking for now is a big crash in times, and I think we might have it. Go on board with Mr. Salt quickly, as that time is down to 5 seconds now. So I wonder if Mr. Salt is off the track. So we've seen a mistake from Mr. Salt, and the times are clicking away, and Bob overtakes him. So Mr. Salt gets himself back on the chat. But just as you were speaking there, Jamie, I was just going to refer to how much distance Mr. Salt had between him and second place, and the time between them just started plummeting away. So Mr. Salt, and we're told by our person in the paddock that Invertigo hit a wall and took Salty out.
Oh, that is devastating.
That is absolutely devastating for Mr. Salt there. Although you have to say, he is catching pretty quickly already on Bob in first place position. That time is flying right down. So I wonder whether Bob's had any issues as well, because he was a good 5 or 6 seconds behind him, and now that time, as you can see, it's down into the 3s, and it's very shortly going to be down into the 2s. So although we have had a crash, and it's really unfortunate for Mr. Salt, and apparently Bob got taken out by Invertigo as well.
Oh,
wow.
This is absolute chaos.
I
wonder if they're all as happy in the chat now.
Yeah, I think the mood might have turned in the chat, but we're going to have a proper battle now for the remaining few minutes of this race.
Bob's letting him past, apparently.
Oh, Bob's letting him pass, just to say, that's fantastic
Very
sportsmanship, to be fair. I mean, we haven't seen anything like this in the channel at all, but, I did wonder whether there was a problem with Bob's car or something like that, but, to let him pass for that sort of issue is fantastic from Bob.
Yeah, fantastic.
Really, really fair play to him there for the error that was caused. So yeah, as we see there, Mr. Salt's just overtaken Bob into first place. He's given himself a nice pass, although it looks like Bob's going to stay in his slipstream here and just hang on to his coattails just to see what happens. But yeah, some really good racing there from Bob to let him pass. So 12 cars remaining, under 2 minutes left. There's still a few battles up and down the track, but I wonder, Jamie, how this battle here is going to transpire. Is Bob going to let him go ahead, or are we going to see some racing?
I don't know. It seemed very sportsmanlike, but he has hung right in there.
Yeah, I wonder, because you remember, with the slipstreaming going on this evening, he could just slingshot past at any moment, and it looks like he's going to do it here.
Go for it.
He's going to go
This
for it
is
as he goes
cheeky,
down the
this is
outside.
cheeky.
Really cheeky as he goes down the outside. Has he got enough in the tank to get round? No, he hasn't. But at least for the last few minutes, we are going to get some racing here. And Gourmet Baby has followed us on the channel this evening as they take each other out, I think, there.
All right.
Blimey, let's see if we can get a replay for that for you guys at home. And they've taken each other out, and it's really a race with 1 minute left on the clock. They are both going to be going for it here. We should see a replay of what we saw on your screens coming up in the chat. And Trevor Hunt now is also in the mix. So we've got all three
Here comes
racers going hard at it as he goes into the wall and pushes Mr. Salt out wide. So we've got a
There's
replay
Bob
on our
going.
screens here of what exactly happened. So you can see Bob Hump was going up in behind Mr. Salt. And as they just come around that corner, we just lost the actual moment on the cam because of the trackside camera. But there was a spin and they both went off the track. But for the last 30 seconds of this race, we've got some real racing as Mr. Salt is down into third place position after those mistakes earlier on. And Bob and Trev are leading the way. But who is going to finish in first place with just moments left of the race? It looks like Bob's got the pace here, but Trevor's going to push him all the way, and there's a last minute attack here. There's 7 seconds left of the race, and can Trevor claw something back? It doesn't quite look like he's got it, but there it is.
Oh.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. So Mr. Salt, after all the good talk we were chatting about him, gets taken out into the wall. Bob lets him past, but still, there was still some argy-bargy yet to come, and he cost him the race, and he finishes the race in third place, Jamie.
I mean, absolute, what an ending. We were foolishly again saying this is done, but absolute madness.
Indeed.
Initially caused by Invertigo, it seemed, and then by themselves.
Yeah, so Invertigo made the mistake early doors to take them out. But then the battles with themselves, they were all three of them pushing really, really hard. And Mr. Salt lost it through a spin collision with the boys, and it's cost him the race. So at least we have confirmation now. So we've got Bob in first, Trevor in second, and Mr. Salt in third place position, having led for the majority of the race and taken the podium position from qualifying. Only manages to finish in third place overall. So here we go, Jamie. The final standings will be upon us shortly. There we go. We've got Bob Hump in first place position, and who takes the crown. We've got Trevor Hump in second, Mr. Salt in third, Crichton Alpha in fourth, Roy Klops in fifth. And it looks like, because Jimmy's not in the lobby, we've lost the entire standings there, and someone's quit the lobby, and we're not going to see the rest of the standings. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Jamie, try and sum that one up.
I mean, it's a cracking start, you know, and it all settled down in the mid, and near the end we thought it was done, but absolute carnage. I'll tell you what, I cannot wait to speak to those three. I imagine there may be some emotions running high.
Exactly that. So let's see what we've got on the chat there. So Salty is apparently gutted, but Invertigo's causing some issues. Bob obviously let him past. As T-Mac said, we have a race on our hands towards the end, and that was good, and there was a lot of shouting going on, we're told in the Discord. Dragon Slayer says it was an awesome race, an awesome stream. Well done to everyone. Thank you for your comments, Dragon Slayer. Exactly right. It was a fantastic race. T-Mac says it was great racing and great steam, and really appreciate that, T-Mac. And Fred himself also jumps in saying, what a race. Well done, boys. And as T-Mac alluded to, he's looking forward to the 30th because we've got something special for you coming as the first race after Christmas, Sunday the 30th. We will, of course, be putting information out on the Facebook page for you guys to learn a little bit about more of that closer to the time. But keep that in your diaries. The first race after Christmas will be the 30th as T-Mac brings you another Sunday race for us to stream. Bob got the standings, put a screenshot in the Discord chat. Perfect. So the standings, Jamie, were Bob Hump first, Trevor Hump second, Mr. Salt third, Crichton Alpha fourth, Roy Klops fifth. It's Rob 3 in 6th, Razan in 7th, Rolfie in 8th, YX in 9th, Odyssey in 10th.
Roy Klops with a DNF there.
Roy Klops with a DNF there indeed.
Not sure what that's about.
Indeed. So there we go. There's your final standings, everyone. Well done, Bob. Much love from Clive. But as you said, Jamie, we want to speak to the boys involved now. Who do you want to go to first?
I mean, shall we do it in podium order?
All right, then. We'll give it to Bob first. So we'll bring Bob into the commentary box this evening. Good evening, Bob. What a race that was. Talk us through those final few moments.
Well, the last few laps are interesting. I got taken out, I think, by Vertigo while I was leading, quite early on in the race. Then he did the same to Salty, obviously accidentally, with a couple of minutes to go.
Yep.
So I thought I'd wait up. It's a fun race. Why not? I'd hold up. We had a great little battle. Then we clipped again. And then the old git, Trev, comes charging through, got stuck, and then there's all three of us. And then I think they crashed into each other, and it was mine from there. But yeah, it was a great fun race.
Yeah, I mean, from us sitting in the commentary box watching that, we wondered what was going on, to be quite honest with you. We saw, Mr. Salt got taken out, and then all of a sudden, the time between you and him just started plummeting, and we thought, has Bob got a problem with his car? And then we were alerted to the fact that you were letting him catch up. So, really good sportsmanship from you there, but it certainly made for a great last few laps from our speaking.
That was the plan. I don't know if you caught it either, but Rolfie87 got taken out by Salt, took himself out, knowing him, and ended up on his side. So he didn't have a reset button. So I decided to go into him at nearly 200 miles an hour to right him, which went quite well.
That's very kind of you, Bob.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, my windscreen wasn't happy. But,
no one's was, to be honest.
So yeah, I lost a bit of time there, but once again, it's all for fun.
So Bob, do you would you say that was a deserved victory on your part, or do you think you got a bit lucky at the end there?
In my opinion, there was three of us who could have won it, and it was going to be completely random which one of us was. So I think I'm deserved, but so was Salty and so was Trev. So it was going to be one of us three, in my opinion.
Salty had a decent gap before the last.
He was quite happy in the middle. Yeah, I mean, I had a bit of a gap. I think I was about 3 or 4 seconds clear till I got taken out at the beginning. But yeah, it's just one of those things that we were all expecting it. And in the chat, I was asking people to take him out. So Vertigo kindly did it
multiple times.
Yeah, then I felt bad. So
and what we'll do
so
while you're chatting there, we'll bring Trevor into the commentary box as well to get his reaction. Jamie's obviously got one last question for Bob there before we move over to Trevor.
No, go for it. Let's get the double hunt reaction.
Good evening, Trevor.
Hello there.
I mean, if you could sum that last few minutes up in a few words, what would you say?
Chaos, really.
You sound quite upset.
No,
I just got 1-2. Do you not love me? Jesus.
No, the trouble is I'm getting my voice played back to myself.
Oh, mute the stream.
Mute the stream, and then you can chat to us properly. But yeah,
Trevor,
that
were
was...
you a bit disappointed?
I can hear about 5 of you. Hang on a second, let me get off the stream. Right, that's better. Right, that's better. Let's start again. What was that question?
Amateurs.
I was saying, Trevor, are you? Do you feel a bit disappointed not to get the victory there in the end?
Well, no, I think to be honest, Salty deserved the win, but there was about all right, Bob. Well done, Bob. You won the race, but Salty was miles ahead, and he consistently kept well ahead of everybody, really. But it is about staying away from everybody and not crashing into people as well. So Bob does deserve it from that point of view. But it just seemed a bit unfair that Salty came third after all that.
It's only because you took him out with 1 lap to go. So
well, I didn't actually realise I was doing that. He told me afterwards.
Now,
I'd nudged him.
Unprecedented tactics here in the commentary box. We are going to try and bring in Mr. Salt as well to join the party, just so we can get some live reaction from him, and you three can probably go at it live for the viewers at home. Mr. Salt, thank you for joining us in the commentary box. I mean, it gave us some fantastic moments in the closing stage of the race, but I imagine there's some disappointment from your side.
Unbelievable disappointment. Unbelievable. So close.
Sure, that's not the hangover.
Yeah, that's gone now after that race.
So, we saw you have that really good lead. Obviously, we didn't catch in Vertigo. All we saw was the times between you and Bob churning down. Can you talk us through exactly what happened?
Not really. It all happened pretty quickly. Hit in Vertigo, got pointing in the right direction, started going through the gears, and then Rob hit me, and it was the same thing again. So maybe if I'd not had that second hit, then I might have got, I don't know, it might have been a bit closer. But then it was just a sprint finish, and I came off worst.
It was a good little battle, though. I think the last 2 or 3 laps, we were all within a second of each other.
Oh, yeah,
side by side action.
Yeah, there was one point where we're talking less than 100 per second between the three of you, and we were like, where the hell is this going to go? And then all of a sudden, Trevor came across and had a little nudge with Salty and left you in the position to take first place, Bob.
Dirty Trev.
Yeah, I didn't realise I did that. I really did not notice I'd done it. I thought it was Bob, to be honest.
Oh, thanks.
I thought Bob was on my outside, and I just missed him. I didn't realise I'd touched anybody, so I do
got flipped
apologise.
and then put into the wall, and then I was just too far away. And yeah.
If I'd meant to wreck, I would have done a better job of it. You see?
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, there wasn't. I hadn't done actually much racing to that point. It was just, I don't know, getting that gap up and making sure it was, I don't know, still there, managing the gap.
It was basically, that's exactly what you were doing. And like the times would go up a second, down a second, up a second. And obviously you heard in chat, I was telling everyone to take you out. They just wasn't happy.
Yeah. Well, you wish came true.
It did.
It did come true.
I felt really bad when it did.
I felt terrible because we were trying a bit of psychology on in the cars.
It's all good. It gave us a great spectacle at home. That's the main thing, of course. Brings the viewers back in next time. But before we let you guys go, obviously, big thank you for taking part in that this evening, giving us those scenes. If one by one, we'll start with you, Mr. Salt, then we'll go to Trev, then we'll go for Bob, just to give it some sense of order here. For people who want to give project cars a go, especially NASCAR, because it did look really exciting from a viewer's point of view, and I imagine some people at home will want to try it. What would be your number one tip for people at home who want to give NASCAR a go? So
Good luck with that.
We'll start with you, Mr. Salt.
Give NASCAR a go or project cars?
Give NASCAR a go on project cars.
Oh, wow. I'd probably say don't bother. It's too difficult. Try something slower. Try the Clios.
Simple as that. Trev, anything to add?
Well, it's a good race to learn on, and I would say just go slower to go faster. You can overdrive these cars way too easily, and you just have to back off a bit into the corners and then go a bit quicker out of them. Very
wise words there. And Bob, finally.
If you want NASCAR, go iRacing. If you want fun track racing, go project cars. Nice. So it's I don't know about the other guys. I'm looking forward to getting back on a real track.
No, I enjoyed
these circles.
I thought it was great.
Me too.
I'm dizzy.
Dizzy, nice. Well, really appreciate you three joining us in the comment box, even to give your reaction to the race. We'll check you guys back in the paddock, but well done. Top 3 positions from you boys, and I'm sure we'll see you in a stream sometime soon.
Brilliant. Well done, guys, once again.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Have a great Christmas, everyone.
Thank you. Cheers.
So there we go, Jamie. Live reaction from the boys, and all very magnanimous in defeat, Mr. Salt there.
Yeah, we were open for a bit of a battle, but they all seem, super friendly, don't they? Although I have to say, Mr. Salt, he must be disappointed with that. He had that in the bag, to be honest.
Yeah, but that's the nature of NASCAR racing, isn't it?
It is.
That's exactly what we warned about through the entirety of the stream. It only takes one takeout to shake up the pack, and that is exactly what we saw. Now, of course, there's 2 things left to do in the channel. Number 1. We've, of course, got, you've probably seen the logo through the entire stream in the top right-hand corner of your screen, and that is, of course, Wolfies. Wolfies.co.uk sponsor the stream this evening, and, of course, want to give you guys at home, one lucky viewer, the opportunity to win a case of porridge. That'll be 6 pots of porridge. Won't be there in time for you for Christmas, of course, because, Christmas is upon us soon. But in order to win the porridge, all you need to do is chat in the channel now. We're going to give it 1 minute. You've got 1 minute to put something in the chat. It doesn't matter what it is. You've just got to put something in the chat and you will be automatically entered in. If you want to put the word porridge, do it. If you want to say my jumper's amazing, do it. If you want to say whatever it is you want to say, just put something in the chat now and you will be entered into the into the competition. So get yourself in now, and let's see who's going to win the porridge this evening. So we've got a few entries so far. We're up to 4 entries. Let's see if we can get any more. We've got about 30 seconds left to go. So anything you want to say in the chat at all will enter you. You've just got to put one word in, and that will get you lined up for the porridge. So come and jump in the chat now, and let's see if we can give some porridge to you guys at home. So here come the final few entries. We're up to 8 now. 8 people are entered. Just looking at my timer now. We've got about 10 seconds left. A few more seconds. Who do you think it's going to be, Jamie?
I'm rooting for Rolfie. He really wants that porridge.
Rooting for Rolfie, indeed. We'll see if he wins it this evening. Right then, I think that's everyone entered. Now, unfortunately, because Rolfie keeps mentioning people, it doesn't actually enter them. So Rolfie, quickly, just put something in the chat without mentioning someone else, and that will actually enter you in properly.
I'm doing my best, Rolfie. Come on, at least you can enter.
There he is. That's got him in, the little Hio. So he's officially in.
Oh,
now. So there we go.
Benjamin wants it as well, though. To be fair.
So we've got everyone entered now. I'm about to press the roll button to see who wins the porridge this evening. Are you ready, Jamie?
Let's do it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll. The software's thinking about it. And we have a winner. And I can tell you, it's not Rolfie.
Oh, no.
It's not Raisin. It's not Trevor Hump. This evening's winner is Took 2001. Took is the winner of this evening's porridge. Thank you for getting involved in that little competition there. So well done. Obviously races regularly with us on a Thursday and has won the porridge this evening. So thank you for getting involved there. We'll make sure we get that sorted. But we have to say, while that was taking place, we actually had Rob MC3 subscribed to the channel on tier 1, which is amazing. I mean, Jamie, someone's actually putting some money where their mouth is and supporting us, which I for one am baffled by, because really, you know, it's just us chatting, isn't it?
Yeah, but like I said at the start, it's the Christmas jumper, mate. Everyone loves a Christmas jumper.
Everyone loves a Christmas jumper, exactly. So there we go. That is the stream over and done with this evening. We've given away the porridge. We've had some new followers this evening. We've had some new subscribers this evening. The one final question we've got to the people involved on the stream at the moment is, do we want to go raiding? And what do you think, Jamie?
I mean, it's tradition, isn't it? We've got to have a little raid.
Got to have a little raid.
Vikings.
If you want to see us go raiding, drop that in the chat now. If 2 or 3 of you say you want to go raiding, we'll do that. I'll line something up just in case we get enough people there. Let's pop a little bit of a background music on. Jamie, are we going for the just chatting again, do you think?
Which was, yeah, we can do, unless there's any oddities called for just chatting. Benjamin's saying no, though. Benjamin, pop in the chat what you want to see.
Yeah, pop in the chat what you want to see. Raisin Snell Freddy, really appreciate the follow. Obviously took part in the race this evening, so well done in that, but really appreciate the follow. So I'm just going to scroll down the just chatting just in case that's where we're going to go, Jamie. We'll see what we want to do. We'll put it out to a vote again, shall we?
He's not. Benj isn't giving us the. He's complained, but he's not giving us any better alternatives.
Not giving us any better alternatives. So never mind. We're going to just go in just chatting. We've committed to this now. So if you've not joined us on the stream before, what we like to do at the end of the night, because of course Twitch is a massive community of streamers, and it's really good that we help other streamers out, because likewise streamers can help us out as well. So it's really important that we stick together here. We'll go and do a raid on someone and support someone else's stream. And get involved with their channel this evening, just so we can, share the love on Twitch. So I'm just scrolling down now. Appreciate the follow there, Rob3, as well as a subscribe. He's dropped us a little follow. So we're getting down to where it matters, the final few places on the Just Chatting page on Twitch. As Took said, it did get weird last time, but let's see what we've got down here this evening So, right, Jamie.
Here we go.
Let's see. So, oh my god, I sort of want to do this one, but I sort of don't. So I'm not even going to mention it. Right. So it's Christmas, remember? So we've got option number 1 is 2 guys making gingerbread houses.
Okay.
That's option number 1 this evening. Option number 2 is going to be. I'm trying to find an English-speaking one so we can at least, communicate with them once we get on there. So option number 2 is going to be someone decorating a Christmas tree. So they're decorating a Christmas tree. So we've got making gingerbread houses, and we've got decorating a Christmas tree. Do you want me to give you a third, or should we vote on those 2?
Yeah, I know. Let's have a third because those 2 are a bit boring.
Bit boring. Option 2, Rob says, wants to go for the Christmas tree.
Rob loves a Christmas tree. I've always thought
Christmas tree. Yeah. None of these other ones are really taking my fancy, or are like Russian or something. So I wonder what sort of interaction we're going to get with those guys. But let me see if I can find another one quickly. I don't want to take up too much of everyone's time. I think there's really nothing around here which is going to be worth it. So we're going to stick with those 2. So put number 1 in the chat if you want us to watch people building gingerbread houses, and we'll go and chat to them. They've got 3 viewers at the moment, so we can go and join them and liven up their channel. Alternatively, we can go and watch someone decorating their Christmas tree in their room. So it's number 1 for the gingerbread houses. It is number 2 for decorating of the Christmas tree. Drop in the channel where we're going to go this evening, and we shall go and join them to see what is crack-a-lacking. So we're just keeping on the chat. Odyssey and Rob have gone for 2. And what's your preference, Jamie?
Well, I'm excited about these ball jokes that Rob's promised me, so I'm going to go for number 2 as well.
And there's a lot of number 2s. So I think we have a winner. We have a winner, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go and raid the guys decorating their Christmas tree. They've got 1 person watching them at the moment, so this certainly should give them something to talk about. So finally, from us on the channel, it's really, really great to have everyone's support here this evening. Thank you for joining us. It was, fantastic viewing numbers this evening and great engagement on the chat. Obviously, a big thank you to you, Jamie, for joining us this evening.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Very enjoyable.
No problem at all. Really appreciate it. So here we go. That's us for the evening. We're going to go raiding now and watch someone build. There's actually 3 lads all doing it together in front of the camera as they do a Christmas tree. We're going to go and do that now. Really appreciate the support from everyone this evening. And that's it from us. So have a very good Christmas. We'll see you on the 30th for the next stream in conjunction with T-Mac. But that's it from us for now. Really happy Christmas and see you all soon.